call the meeting to order. And then once you take your seat, if you stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Hope everybody enjoyed the new year and had a good holiday season. Just a little bit of news before we get started. We will not have a guest speaker this evening. Wagner, if you would let everybody know that.
As of about 3:30 this afternoon, Cassilly got a call from a family member that there was a family emergency. Later in this evening, his mom had passed. He sends his regrets, willing to reschedule, maybe next month if it works for you, but you understand the circumstances that he has to do with the rest of the family, and he sends his apologies.
That's crazy. We all expect Rob to stand in.
Okay, go ahead.
I move. Nice. Aye.
Happy New Year, everybody. So the community crime report will be comparing December of 24 to December of 25. The top 3 calls for service, number 1 and number 2 are the same. Number 1 being suspicious incidents and number 2 being check on subjects. There was a change at the 3 spot. The 3 spot in 24 was 911 hangups, and the 3 spot in 25 was alarm calls. Our total call for service, we are up 9% for this area. Our total crashes are down 10%, which is good. Our part 1 crimes are serious crimes, 0s for homicides and rapes. Robberies, we had 3 last year, 1 in 2025, so we had a decrease there. Assaults were up they went from 9 to 14, with unfortunately the majority of those being domestic related. Our burglaries went from 2 to 4. Our thefts jumped up 10, 41 to 51. Now, I will tell you, in December of 25, this past December, we ran a lot of proactive details in the area, where we were partnering with businesses and doing shoplifting, saturation patrols at several stores in this area. So there's increase of 10 there, likely going to be because of the proactive enforcement details we're running. Auto thefts was a decrease. They went from 6 to 4. And non-fatal and fatal overdoses, we have 1 of each. I also report out on the school bus violations that we have. So in December of 24, we had 594. December of 25, a significant decrease, we had 363. So the messaging and everything is getting out there, and it just seems to be working. And that's been throughout this school year. I've reported out those numbers have been declining pretty consistent, which is good. And again, just for the room, we consistently see those hotspot areas. The one that we talked about in the past, where the hotel zone on Edgewood Road, we talked about it in October and November, and I think even in December. That is no longer on the hotspot report. It came out today. I shared it with the precinct. It's not there anymore. But our Hanson Road, Magnolia, has been consistently since the start. That's still a hotspot. And now our number 2 spot for this area is Hanson Road at Court Square. And there are Magnolia Middle School drops and takes off there, and that's another hotspot. So that was sent out as it is. Whenever we get those hotspot reports to the guys and girls, not only the traffic unit but patrol, go out there and actually eyes on and see the violations and write citations as well. So, and that is what I have for the community crime report. I can answer any questions. So the sheriff's here to address you all as well. So I can answer any questions before he comes up. Yes.
Will you be increasing patrols over at the shopping centers in light of the recent incident with the break-in at the Dunkin' Donuts? And I was talking to the manager at the gate. He's hoping to make it tonight, but they said that things have increased again with the shoplifting and stuff, and seems that it stays ramped down when the deputy sit in their cars up there, but she said she hadn't seen them before. I was like, you gotta remember, it was the holiday, some of them had off and stuff, so she did ask, that's what she was gonna do when she got here.
Yeah, we also had, one of the burglaries in here as well was the Edge Crab House in Edgewater Village Shopping Center, and that was hit, smashed the glass door and went inside. Yeah, so we're aware of those issues, and our CID has some leads there, but we are continuing to increase enforcement in those areas, absolutely. And we're working with the business too on some new cameras, which will be helpful as well.
Yeah, the manager at the Dollar Tree said that, yeah, she was like, she don't know how y'all did it, but because they had approached Fortis about some cameras and stuff and wasn't, she was like, yeah, she was like, I don't know what y'all been saying, but they finally got it.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that stuff's helpful. It's helpful for sure, but on both ends. Like, we're allowed, we have access to review it live time, and the details and proper enforcement. It helps a lot on the back end with investigation, trying to identify. We have a lot of cameras too for foot traffic in that area. If the suspects leave there and they go on foot back Brookside corridor, we have all those cameras as well that we can go back and like trace the footsteps, which is what happened with the Edge.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hi, so a question concerning wellness check-ins. I ran into an older lady, and she mentioned that she was unconscious in her home, and the police was called twice, but they knocked, and when nobody responded, that the officers left. So then her neighbor called to find out that she was still unconscious, and then the ambulance kicked the door in.
Mm-hmm.
So what's proper protocol? She wanted me to ask you that.
It'd be hard for me to answer the question without the actual facts of what was told to the call taker, what was told to us. That's a hard question for me to answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell her y'all did what y'all had to do.
Well, if you want to share with me the address offline, and I can look it up and I can get a better answer without knowing exactly what was provided, it's really difficult to answer the question.
Understood. Thank
Yep,
you.
absolutely.
Jeff, just give me 1 second. We forgot to introduce ourselves. Adam,
I'm sorry, what?
we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Oh, I'm trying to. There's an audio problem with the live stream. So I'm Adam, the one in charge of the audio problem.
Janet Robinson, co-chair, Edgewood.
I'm Paula Mullis, I'm your chair.
Melissa DeRisca, Edgewood.
Okay, now you're up.
Your
Remember
sheriff.
the sign-in sheets for someone who hasn't been here before? Anybody? It was in the back.
Hey, the whole back.
Oh, okay. It needs to go back again. Come your way.
Yeah, if you signed in before, don't sign in again, because Gloria's already got your information. It's just for anybody that's brand new or first time.
I just wanted to stop down this evening and say hi, Happy New Year. Been a crazy 25 and hopefully a little better 26, knock on wood. We'll see how it goes. But talk to you all about a couple things that we're looking for some community help on. First is our hiring at the detention center. It has both law enforcement and corrections. We've really found it challenging the last year or so. Salaries, I know there's been some discussion in this room about the budget. I can tell you, we are chasing these other jurisdictions, trying to remain competitive in our salaries, and that's where the majority of the budget increases are year after year, and we're not. We're doing a salary study right now to see where we stand. We're going to share that with the county executive and his team when it's complete, but we know that we're way off the market rate for those agencies that we compete with for men and women, particularly in law enforcement. We have 18 vacancies right now in law enforcement. We've never had, in my 10 years of serving as I'm in my 12th now, I guess, as your sheriff, we've never had this many vacancies in law enforcement. We actually have fewer vacancies in corrections. We're carrying 13 as of today. So we're looking to fill those. I put some of these cards on the back table. On January 14th, we're having an open house event at the detention center. People need to register for this. What I heard today is we had something like, I think it was 46 people coming, and 2 different meeting times. They can bring somebody else. If it's a young person, they feel more comfortable bringing a parent or a grandparent or somebody with them to walk through that facility. I tell it everywhere I go. 28 years in Maryland State Police before I was elected as sheriff. I didn't really know the corrections side, but over the past 12 years, I've got to know corrections. It's a jail. We have a lot of substance abuse. We have a lot of mental health, and we have some downright violent criminals. But as jails go, we have the nicest jail in the state. And that seems like an oxymoron, but I can tell you, how many Citizens Police Academy graduates? And Harford leadership? So you've taken tours, those people who have had the hands up have taken tours of the jail, and I think would attest. I've been in facilities, Department of Corrections, or different jails all around this state in my state police career. Our facility is clean, it's orderly, doesn't mean bad things don't happen. However, it is above average place, and I think people don't understand it until they walk through it. So this card is back there for anybody who might know. I say young men and women, they just have to be men and women who are capable of performing the job tasks. There's a little PT test that goes along with it. It's not as strenuous or difficult, I guess, as a law enforcement one. So if you know anybody that's interested, we're trying to get as many people in there and fill those last 13 vacancies. We actually need additional staff, but before we can get those, we need these vacancies that we currently have filled. So those cards are back there.
Hey, sweetie, I'm in a meeting.
And the other one,
That's okay, I'll call you later.
I'll call them too if they like. The other card is Citizens Police Academy. So for those hands that did not go up, speak to someone who did raise their hands. If you want to learn more about your sheriff's office, I say all the time, I ran for this job unsuccessfully in 2010. I thought I had a good handle on what the men and women of this office do for you, the citizens of this county. Having 28 years in the Maryland State Police, having been the barrack commander in this county, working side by side with law enforcement, I thought I had a good handle of what the sheriff's office does. I was nowhere close. I had no good understanding of what the office of sheriff the first time I ran for it. I ran for it in 14 with a much better understanding and was successful. But once I got in the door, it was culture shock. And I think when you go through the Citizens Police Academy, you get that experience of seeing everything that these men and women do and how well they do it on your behalf. Doesn't cost you anything, 10-week program, 2.5, 3 hours a night. You go to different facilities. You come here to the Southern, you go to, I don't know if you go to CID, you go to the range, you come to headquarters, you go out to the college, you get to see the Department of Emergency Services, and you get to see the courthouse, if I didn't say that one. Mm-hmm. So you get to move around the different operations that involve the sheriff's office. And again, we have a graduation ceremony at the end. A very good program, costs you nothing, and if you want a better understanding of the great job that these men and women in uniform, and those you don't see here tonight, we just had a barricade tonight up in Greenbrier, safely resolved just before I drove down. The gentleman surrendered peacefully, which is the way we actually like it. No matter what you see on TV, that's not the way we like it. We like it peaceful, and that resolved peacefully. So these cards are back there. We'd love to see you in the Citizens Police Academy. That too has a lot. Maybe that was a 46 number so far signed up for that. I'm confusing my numbers, but either way, that would be a record-sized class, but we still got more room to join some others. And with that, I will be getting out of the way unless I can answer a question for anybody. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll take them, but I'll be quick.
Oh, go ahead.
He drew on the clock. You have 10 minutes. So
Okay.
Still, you have 4 left.
Okay.
He's my timekeeper.
You said that there is 15 vacancies. Is that because of retirements, or is that just lateral moves to other counties?
We have 13 vacancies in corrections. We have 18 in law enforcement. It's going to be 19 because we have somebody leaving. They went on terminal leave already. They leave on March 1st. It's going to be 19. We only have 30 going to boards, and that 30 will not materialize into 19 people sitting down in the academy class. So we'll be posting for law enforcement again. It's because of a lot of things. We, for a while, 3 years ago, we hit a market level rate of competitiveness where our salaries were on par, not at the top, but not at the bottom of those agencies in the salary study that we compare with to recruit our men and women, Baltimore County Police, Maryland State Police, Anne Arundel, Frederick County Sheriff's Office, Charles County, which is a comparable size sheriff's office to this one. I think if you don't know, you have the largest sheriff's office in the state of Maryland, serving the largest of a sheriff's office. You know, when you get to Baltimore County and Arundel, they have county police forces. We are your county police force, and to do that, we're the largest sheriff's office in the state, on par with Charles County, which serves about they're right around the same number of employees, but they serve a population of about 50,000 less. So the challenges are recruitment, because I can tell you the young men and women, we're offering a $15,000, is it 15 now for law enforcement? 10 or 15. We're offering a bonus. These other places, and the feds are hiring like mad, and they are hiring some big bonuses. I just saw U.S. Capitol Police, a $70,000 signing bonus. The salaries have gone crazy. And if I was a young person, and we're seeing fewer and fewer people wanting to come into this field, chase the money. That's what they do. There was another, you have one?
Real quick, when
Has
you
to
all
be.
had posted for the fact that you were hiring new officers to work with the animal control unit out of the sheriff's office, when I discussed it with a couple of young people, they had asked me, would that be, because they're scared or nervous about just going straight to the academy, would that be a good way of kind of getting familiarized?
I would say, if you have more of an interest in law enforcement, I'd say corrections is the path to go first, and then lateral. We have a lot of people do that and then go to law enforcement. Civilian animal control is a civilian, even though they wear a uniform, civilian position, and we only have 5. We're trying to get a couple extras, but we only have 5. But tonight in the barricade, there were 2 dogs in the house, and it was instrumental having animal control there with us, waiting to make the arrest so they could go in and bring the dogs out. But I wouldn't say animal control is the starting place. Corrections would be the starting place.
Yeah.
No.
Question in
Yeah.
the back. So my question is, apparently without these jobs being able to be filled within a facility, is it a way or is there any plan for any rehabilitation for Edgewood? Because with the rivalry between Edgewood and Aberdeen, Edgewood citizens have to go to Aberdeen to check in where there's a known rivalry. Everybody's period, especially the police enforcement, like law enforcement. So is it any kind of parole probation coming to Edgewood, or y'all just don't think the Edgewood citizens?
I don't know what they're doing, and I can tell you, I mean, how many state employees are in the room? Coming out of.
I mean, it's just been years, and there's never been no parole probation in Edgewood. And
Everybody I talk to, yeah, that's state government, that's not the sheriff's office, that's not the county government. But everybody I talk to in state government is teleworking. I mean, our people teleworked during COVID for less than 60 days, and since then they've all been at their desk or in their cars on the street. It aggravates me that places like P&P and juvenile services and stuff, that you got people sitting at home and not on the street doing their job.
Right, and another question about the, so a sheriff's department question, is it a way that 2026 we can start doing more, community tours as far as getting to know the parents in the community versus when a child get in trouble and, you know, like a parent is not notified, so if a parent is working 12 to 16 hours and have no clue but hearsay off the streets, is it something that goes up like, hey, you know, just to check up? I mean, we pay taxes, we should know if it's an issue.
Well,
I moved here and I had an issue at my house where my door was broke with my son, and it was no follow-up, even though I complained and put a order, like, years ago, there was no follow-up or anything, and now my son has been in trouble for an incident, but I just feel like if it was a follow-up with police and parents with issues, then things can kind of probably be resolved before it gets to 85 years.
I can tell you, and the precinct captain, Dave McDougal, can tell you, you know, these deputies down here run call to call. This is busy, you know, there's the contention, and it's a sheriff's office, not a sheriff's department. We have no department. And that's, you know, me and the county executive can have that conversation on another day. That's why I believe we need that other precinct in order to allow the deputies that are in this facility to focus more on this area, the Edgewood, Joppatowne area. 1/10 of our county's population lives in this area, but we're anticipating 30,000 people. This is off the county's website, 30,000 additional people in the next 20 years. So as it grows, I mean, it's going to become less, not more. We have a 5-person community policing unit that has to service the entire county. I've asked for 2 extra positions, just 2, to help supplement that unit to do the kind of things you're talking about over the last 3 budget years, and none of them have been funded. So I can only do with what, you know, we, the men and women, my commanders, and Major Dunbar's here. I'm sure, I think he spoke 2 months ago at your meeting.
Yeah.
So he you know, we can only do so much with what we have, and I think they do an exceptional job. But if somebody was arrested, a juvenile, then the parent has to be notified.
No, that's what it starts as juvenile, but eventually is no working out anything. It's just they go from juvenile trouble to adult trouble, and then it's like no time. Like my son's the first time offender, he got 5 life sentences offered to him, 18 years to 25 years for life sentence that he had to plead to. But I'm not understanding because the officer got offered 30 years for saying that he did something to teach it.
I'd have to have the captain talk to you a little more in depth about the specifics of that incident, but you know, I do think
How they operate with
I've been very critical. I've been very critical of the last juvenile services secretary who got fired by this governor, and then he's moved on to a new one. Juvenile services, which is supposed to intervene when law enforcement interacts with these young people, they haven't been doing their job for years.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I offended you. I've been called on time, but
All right, well, two things, I need a pen if anyone has one.
a pen.
And secondly, I wanted to ask, because it's kind of like a follow-up, thank you so much, I appreciate it. It's kind of a follow-up to, what you were saying earlier, as well as what this young lady is talking about. There isn't any, youth programs currently for, you know, I guess middle school to high school students. Do you have something like that? And I am a newbie, so if you do have it, this is just my first time hearing.
Yeah, we have programs. I mean, we have the Youth Academy, but it's not every day. It's not like the old POW program. I was in the state police when the state police opened, and Councilman Guthrie was very involved in that program down here at the, I forget what they call that now, the center. It used to be the POW Center.
It's the Edgewood Rec Center.
Edgewood Rec Center. That was built around the State Police Activities League. We don't have anything like that. We have no staff to do anything like that. But our community services, school policing during the summer runs Youth Academy. We have the Explorer program. But if you get up with Captain McDougal, he can fill you in. Our community policing does we just came off of our 43rd Christmas drive. I did a video, it's on our social media about that. The number of volunteers and community members that we assisted, including, I think, what was the number, 800 and some children that were impacted as a result of the Sheriff's Office Christmas drive. It started with just 18 families 43 years ago. Sheriff Bain was corporal at the time and instrumental in getting that started.
So is the program, okay, so with POW, I am familiar, I'm coming from a whole other county, so I'm quite familiar with the POW program. I'm gonna make it quick, because I know someone else has a question. So is it about staff or is it about funding? Because I know that we're in Harford County.
It's hand in hand.
Okay, so.
You can't add positions without adding funding.
So it's starting with the funding, and that's why you don't have the staff. It's not that people don't want to apply for the position, we just don't have the money for it.
Yes,
Okay.
but I don't know what we'd find. You know, my funding request to the county executive has a lot of law enforcement deputies in different capacities. 2 for community policing, 2 for traffic, 3 for school policing, just to help grow out into the schools. None of those have been funded for the last 3 years. So at the cost of a new deputy today, first year cost comes with a car, a computer, a uniform, the training. I think it's $275,000 the first year cost, and then it drops back because the car comes out to something like $225,000. So when I'm asking for 4 deputies, I'm asking for $1 million.
He's asking for you to increase your taxes, is what he's asking.
Well, I think it should be asking for some staff, it doesn't need $275,000 to start, but, you know, needless to say.
If you want police interacting with the young people, this is what the cost of police are. And, you know, we have a lot of needs, but, you know, the sheriff's office budget has grown, yes. The county's budget over my last 10 years has gone $330 million. It's not like we're dealing with the same money that we had last year.
But if they're locking the teams up for years at a time, like 80 plus years, what is the plan for rehabilitation so they don't get offered that much time?
Well, we don't do that. You're talking on the correction side. You're talking.
Yeah, that's judiciary.
Yeah, you're talking, you know, department. No one got that kind of time that didn't go to the
I
Department
mean,
of
I read that,
Corrections.
but they get talked to here, like they get what's it called? Interrogated. They get interrogated here. A lot of them.
That's
And
because-
be held against them in court and things like that. So for the kids that grew up with IEP plans, like there's a lot of kids on IEP that's in the room getting interrogated by these people, and they don't understand like what's happening and what's even being offered.
Well, if an individual, regardless of age, commits a crime, then the police's job is to investigate the crime, provide those facts to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor decides what kind of sentence to seek, and then that is up to corrections when they serve it. So it's the different functions of government, but our job, and our men and women do it very well, are to investigate the crimes and find out who did it behind, you know, who's responsible for it.
In the interrogation process.
If that's part of an investigation, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many different sections in the sheriff's office do you have? I know you have the road unit, you have the courthouse security unit, and you know the corrections portions of it for the detention center.
You get all this during the Citizens Police Academy day one, so come on out. But real quick.
I mean, you know, for recruiting, I mean, if you sit there and say that the sheriff's department is looking to open up like an aviation division, or maybe a maritime division or something else like that.
We have both. We have 2 boats, but we got rid of the helicopter. I got rid of the helicopter when I came in the office. We did have a helicopter. We don't need a helicopter. Drones are the future. So the sheriff's office, and if I can stress one thing, There is no sheriff's department in the state of Maryland. This is, the sheriff works for you. I do not work for the county executive. I do not work for the governor. I do not work for the state police. I cannot be held accountable by any of them, unless I do something criminal. But I mean, I answer directly to the voters every 4 years. And if you had a county police chief, then, and you'd have a corrections director or whatever, warden, you'd have the structure you have in Baltimore County. Here, you all get to pick who fills this job, this mission every 4 years. So in law enforcement, we have 3 bureaus. We have the Police Operations Bureau, which is Major Dunbar, which is the 2 precincts, should be 3. And then beneath that, you have things like SWAT and the motors and the traffic unit, and a whole bunch of other things. Then you have the Administrative Services Bureau, which has school policing, community policing, the training academy, policy, those kind of things. And you have the Criminal Investigation Bureau, which has CID, the actual investigators, SID, the drug investigators, and internal affairs. So those are the 3 bureaus. And then you have the Correctional Bureau, which is the entire jail operation. Under administrative is also court services, because we provide security at the circuit courthouse and two county office buildings presently. And then we also have, I think we're the only sheriff's office in the state. I could be wrong on this, but I think we're the only one with animal control as well. So it's a lot, and we go into more depth on it during the Citizen Police Academy.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
I just want to piggyback on that. I've been through the Citizens Police Academy. He's not joking. I mean, you learn everything and anything. You get to see the canine demonstrations. You even get to go upstairs in the simulator.
The simulator is broke. We haven't got money to replace it last year. We've asked for it.
I got to use
Yes.
it. But you go to the range
You
and
broke
they
it,
put you in, but you go to the range twice, and you go once for canine, and then you go where they put you in different scenarios,
Traffic
and you know, you actually have like this rubber gun, and you're out there doing these scenarios. And you learn about every aspect of the sheriff's.
If I could run 268,000 people through the Berker system when we bought it, when I was in my first or second year in office, it cost $500,000. We used drug forfeiture money. We don't have that kind of money to rebuy it, so it's trash. I mean, they ran its lifespan. They can't fix it anymore. We have
The
to
rest
find
of
a
the
way.
academy is outstanding.
The point is, nothing's cheap anymore.
Right.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy New Year. Thank you for the time.
Okay, you are up, Cynthia.
Good evening, Cynthia Lynch from the Office of the County Council President, Mr. Vincenti. Our first meeting of the year will be tomorrow evening. There is a public hearing prior to the meeting, so the public hearing will be at 7:15, where the meeting starts at 7:30. And there will be a transfer of money from the general fund to the capital fund to fund new elevators for the Harford Center and the Citizens Care Center. That's part of the business that will be going on. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Rob, you're up.
Well, Happy New Year to all, and hopefully 2026 will be a great year for all of us, everybody, as far as health and safety. Funding has been approved for the future projects at First Harford Square through, that'll be done through 755 Alliance. There's several things that we wanted to do there, we've talked about over the years, and that will be forthcoming in this upcoming year. Work should begin in the spring for the walk paths at Cunyon Field, which will be ADA accessible. Harford County did secure $450,000 in state funding to improve Southern Harford County. That is money that will go to $100,000 will support the Edgewood Neighborhood Homeowners Rehabilitation Program, providing critical repairs for low to moderate income homeowners, while the remaining $350,000 will help revitalize the Edgewater Village Shopping Center with a security system, employment resource center, and new retail opportunities. We've got them at Mariner Point Park. we've got the work, that was the renovation work at Joppatowne Park is still progressing. That should finish up this spring. The piers were have been worked on. Pier 4 remains a little bit in design phase to address some structural repairs that are much needed. Woodbridge Station Way eastbound lane closure for repairs extended until March the 1st. Ivanhoe Street, if anybody knows where that is, it's along Willoughby Beach Road and will cut through to Copperplex over on Cedar. That is ongoing and should be wrapping up here in the early spring. That's going to be, and we will provide signage. I know there was some concern that businesses that are now somewhere in the Edgewood area are being a little shortcutted by this Ivanhoe Road because people will take that bypass through to go to Copperplex and not utilize the people that we have with businesses that are in the Edgewood area. So we're going to have some signage provided so that people that come for the events at Copperplex and the skate park will know where there's places to stay, places to eat, other attractions in the Edgewood area. And for Ralph, I've got for you, you asked about the street sweeping schedule. The street sweeping schedule, I was a little surprised, but you can't dedicate employees strictly for that 24/7. So the answer I got back was that the goal was to sweep every street in the Southern County area 4 times a year. There is no official schedule due to workload fluctuations and staffing challenges. The staff they use for that have other duties. So on call, if there's one that really gets out of hand and needs some in between, we'll get somebody on it. But as far as, you know, dedicated street sweeping people, there's not that. Okay, so the schedule doesn't really exist. That's an answer I didn't want to have to give you, but it doesn't exist. It's just they're dedicated to doing it 4 times a year, and just let me know when they get in need.
So our neighborhood consistently falls on a Monday.
Okay.
For the last year, it's a Monday. Never is on a scheduled time, but it's a Monday. Which maybe they come in Monday, they don't know what they're doing for the week. I don't know how they plan. So they just go street sweep. I don't know. Maybe we should work it the opposite way. Maybe we should provide them the schedule when our trash pickup is and say, don't bother coming on these days because you're wasting county money. I'd rather see the money go to the sheriff's office than to you guys to go street sweep a street that you can't sweep.
How many
because the trash cans are all out there.
How many trash haulers do you have in the neighborhood?
3.
3. That's what I thought.
We have 2 on Mondays, we send 4 trucks, because you do recycling and regular, and then 1 on Tuesday sends 2 trucks. So I could easily say to them, don't bother coming into Joppatowne or Rumsey Island unless you're coming on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Friday.
Okay.
And I'm sure that Edgewood could provide the same what their trash days are, because it's just ridiculous to have them come. You can see them.
Right.
They're nowhere near the curb. They might as well not. I'm just saying, I love it. They've done a great thing. They're just doing it in a bad way.
Right.
And that could just be improved a bit, and then some pre-notice would be wonderful, but I guess they can't. They probably
They
just
did
get
do the
surprised.
calls though, right? In the beginning?
I've signed up. I've sent them my phone number. I've never gotten a call. Now, I'm an 805 number. Maybe they think I live in California still. But I gave them my number. My wife has a California number. She got a call saying, don't go out because everybody has the flu, but nobody paid attention to that damn thing. So it's interesting that she can get a call about that, but she didn't get a call about the street sweeper. But my neighbor, he got a call. He has a landline. Came on his landline. So I don't know what they're doing, but I'd be happy to go work with them and invest my time and my effort to sit down with a person who would want to at least work with me. I did planning my entire career. I'm not saying I could help them, but maybe I could do something to spark an idea that they haven't thought of. I don't know, but it's just, you might as well not do it. I hate to say it. It's just a waste
Well,
of
if you're not
time.
gonna do it right.
Yeah,
I got it.
they're doing it right. I don't want to say they're
it's
doing it
just, but
right.
it could be done better.
The timing's just not good.
Okay.
So that's my thing.
All right.
We'll work it
We'll
more.
talk about it.
Thank you very much.
That Pier 4 down there at Mariner Point Park, is that the one with the big buoy that's on the pole there?
It's right next to the buoy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the one where the erosion has
Right.
washed the walkway away from it.
Right.
And they've got it, okay. And you're saying that's in the planning stage still?
That one is, I think they've got a plan in place. They're just not gonna do anything on it here in the wintertime, but,
They're gonna have to
remains in the
reinforce that
design phase
Remain in design phase.
to address the structural repairs.
Okay, because I know the catfish off that one right there are getting awful big and they need to be caught.
You need to count it to get that kayak.
The 100K that the county's getting,
Right.
how does that get allocated? Is that, people are applying for it, or?
That program, I'm not 100% sure that it's finalized as to what repairs would be. It was a dollar amount that was assigned that you couldn't exceed per household. It might, I can't remember what the number was on that, but it's not up and running because we just got notice that we would get the money.
Yeah,
So it'll be out and around. We'll definitely publish it so you know how to apply.
Perfect, thank you.
What do you got, Ralph?
To piggyback over that one, the 350 that's going to various other aspects.
Right.
You mentioned Edgewood Village Shopping Center. What's the decision-making process for where those funds go as well?
It was talked about probably a year and a half ago, looking for security cameras. There was one of it out behind the stores. That was one of the things. They're working on these.
Being held accountable, because these owners, the owners of these shopping centers are not around.
No, they're not.
And no, they're not, and they need to be held accountable. I believe.
Housing, I believe.
I really do. I think they need to, they've been this way since the 70s.
Oh, it's been this way for a very long time.
I remember the 70s when they were there.
And there's been multiple meetings with the owners.
Yeah.
They're happy to take the money they take and not care what it looks like, the condition it is, or anything else, and just take the money and run, basically.
That's a big thing for me. I wanna know who in the district, I mean, I think that it needs to be held accountable and like legally. I mean, like the county attorney literally handling this, because if not, we're gonna end up just like Baltimore City with everybody owning something but not being here. And to me, it's a detriment to our community right now. It really is a detriment to our community, and it's anybody in this, everybody here, I probably never knew that the people who own that have never been in this state, ever. And they literally they have a few of them, Madonna, all that, they all have things down.
One at a time.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, is there a way, for our councilmen, and everybody, if there's a way that this needs to be handled legally. And that's not something that should cost money from us. That's something that should cost it costs the administration of the church, the prosecutor's office or whatever, that the legal office should handle that, not us.
You had a comment.
I can't believe we're spending $350,000 on something that those people literally living in New York, literally, they have cameras at their homes. Why do we not get cameras from them here?
Wait a minute, in terms of Edgewood, that's quarters, that's local, man.
Hang on,
I'm sorry.
One at a time. You had.
Yeah, one thing, Bob, just,
Exactly.
the buoy, we were talking about down on a point.
Right.
The contract for that, is supposed to upgrade that and paint that.
To be
in the spring
painted.
of the year as soon as the weather breaks.
Right.
So that's gonna be good. Also, I wonder if you could tell us, they're supposed to be starting dredging, actually.
Supposed to be
talked about
started
in the fall.
in December.
Yeah, and here it is January, and, of course, I live on the water, and I haven't seen a thing going on at all. any dredging going on. Now, I've had all the drawings and stuff that was been approved for a while, and it shows that, which is good news, it shows that they're probably starting a good 100 yards beyond the bridge, where they're gonna start dredging, because it's really shallow there by the bridge. That's a good omen. But I was disappointed when, and I sent in a couple emails about it, I was disappointed when I saw that they're only talking about 5 feet, when normally, that they're dredging to, when normally, in all the years I've been here, I've lived in Joppatowne 60 years, you know, dredging almost every 10 years. They would dredge about 6 feet, and they're not even going to that. So to dredge for 5 feet only means you're gonna dredge sooner, it's gonna cost more money sooner. And if you're dredging, you know, really we thought it should be more than 6 feet, so they won't have to come back so often to do it. Particularly with Ridgely Reserve and the problems we're having with the runoff, you know, it hasn't stopped. We're still having issues with it. Every time it rains, you know, all I have to do is look out my back window.
No, this is not raining in your house, because there's people living with rainforests in their living room, so.
Yeah,
I
well.
mean, at this point.
Adam, go ahead.
Can I just, to your comment, I talked to Raj when I saw the announcement about the $350,000 grant. He got a very quick call from me, Raj Goyal, at the Economic Development Office. And we talked, quite frankly, I had the same concerns as you. Like, I don't understand when Cordish doesn't pay any attention to us, why $350,000 goes to him. Now, I will say it's grant money, so it's not coming directly from the county or anything like that. And he told me that he completely understands where I'm coming from, but he also said it's $350,000 that we're giving him and he has to spend it to improve it. So would you rather not have $350,000 to spend to improve it, or do you want to see improvements happen?
Oh, okay.
And so I said, you know, it would be nice that if we could do something where we could say, here's $350,000, please use it, and also, you know, you've got some other shopping centers, please make some improvements that you don't get free money for because, oh, you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So Raj said that he would take those comments and, you know, do what he does with them, but he did, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, it's not $350,000 that's coming out of the county coffers, it's $350,000 of grant money that unfortunately can only go to pretty much the only shopping center guy that's not paying attention to us, so.
Okay, thank you.
It doesn't matter if it's grant money. It's grant money that's coming from the state, and you just heard the sheriff stand here and talk about, and these women bring up issues about working with and bridging things and having that community police in there to work with the youth and stuff. You all, I agree with her. It's the thing, and you had the man here in the room. They aren't doing anything. And we're sitting here babysitting or coddling him, and he's not doing anything for his business owners. You got your store people ready to leave, and now you're just going to throw grant money at it, at the situation. You've made these decisions on what you're going to spend it with, but you didn't talk to the manager of the Dollar Tree, the manager of the grocery store. None of them know anything about that. They're the ones dealing with the crime and the stealing and stuff. They're the eyes there.
I agree with you, but the grant money was written, or the grant was written for this specific thing. It wasn't like Raj was like, oh, we got $350,000, let me give it to Cordish. It was for this specific improvement. Now, one thing I will say, Rob, to that point, the Southern County Task Force, which, thank you, great, wonderful, but they did have a young group from, I believe it was Edgewood Middle School, went out and they did free labor for Cordish. That, I don't know why, that could have been to community people rather than, you know, Cordish getting the benefit of that, I do think. But
Hold on. I got you. But let's go back to your question. Your question was the decision-making process, and that's how all of this got started.
Correct, yeah,
So-
the county gets $350,000 specifically for community revitalization in areas where it's needed, which, great, if that is this area, it's Edgewood, it's Joppatowne, among other places, but great, I'm glad that we're getting it. Who decides how that $350,000 gets divvied up. Is there an application process? Who knows about the application process? How's that advertised? How's that, you know, I don't think that Raj and his boss and his team are going, oh, we're just gonna, here's $350,000, let's pick who we like. I don't think that's how it is, but I'm asking, how is it? That's what I was getting at.
Some of the needs that were identified go back a year and a half ago. We met out there at the shopping center and we looked around back. There's a route that goes from the stores to Brookside and out of view.
Sure.
So Cordish was involved in it. Harford County's government IT department was involved in it. They talked about cameras. They got scaled back a good bit because cameras are highly expensive. The project at Harford Square was very expensive. Anytime you start doing cameras, they're expensive. So we scaled it back. I do know that happened because they were looking at just, you know, the Taj Mahal for video and stuff, and that wasn't going to work. Well, all right, they left that day saying, oh, maybe $200,000, maybe you'll do it. I said, you're not a dime less than 650, 700,000. It came in at more than 700. So you can spend the money very quickly on video equipment to try to surveil and make sure you have the right people picked up at the right time and that sort of stuff. But it got identified then trying to help that shopping center in the neighborhood, and also that would help to attract better tenants too, better stores, if you will. We're taking, and I'm frustrated with it as well as some of you are, because Harford County is taking the initiative to try to build up that shopping center and make it a better shopping center for the people that we serve. The group that owns it doesn't seem to have a care for that. And it's a shame that they don't, and they don't have to. They've got sources of money coming from other places. It's not their priority. So,
right, but it becomes their priority if you take a stance like Dutch Rupersberger did when I was Baltimore County executive, when he put his foot down on some of them business owners and them shopping centers and stuff, because she's right. You're just letting him get away with it. They have the money in that company. Anytime they can get in bed with and build stuff for Snoop Dogg and stuff. Look at the court. Go visit the Cordish website and see all of the money, all of the things that they got their hands in around this state and around the country.
We're not going to resolve that issue at this meeting.
And we have some other people.
And I had a question
So,
over here.
yeah, so there are the questions.
Hang on, because we have.
We give them,
back.
give
My
them
hand
all
was
that
up,
money.
my
We give
hand was up before.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're next.
That's a good question.
Go on.
Go ahead, she said you go.
No, go ahead.
No, go on.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Taffy.
Sand Pebble, the property outside of Oak Landing, they're using that as a dump. I would like to know who holds landowners, business owners responsible. Like, they're using that as a dump. For 10 years, I've been cleaning this up myself. Luna's house, they got trees growing all over our property. They don't come trim, nothing. I've asked y'all to maybe write them a letter. I was told to go over there and talk to them since we're neighbors. I went over there to talk to them a few years ago. The woman put the camera in my face and told me if I come back, she's gonna have me arrested. So that wasn't too neighborly, you know. I didn't go back, I haven't been back, but they don't take care of any of their trees, their property that lines up to ours. So what they're saying to me is those trees drop, use your homeowner's insurance. Like, who holds them responsible? That's what I would like to know.
Any tree that's growing on your property, you have to
Attorney General.
trim it and cut it.
Well,
Yeah.
they're not on my property, but they cost, the tree costs $4,000 or $5,000. Right, I shouldn't have to be the one trimming it.
so whose tree is it? It's theirs?
It's Luna's.
Well, you can't cut that tree anyway.
If it
But you can
falls
cut the
on her
limbs
property.
off.
On her property, well,
If
if
it
it falls,
infringes on her property, she can.
oh, I get that.
Right.
But that,
But
if
not,
that's the
no, you
case,
can't cut
that's-
the tree down, you cut the limbs that overhang.
So why should she have to wait till it fall on her house to do something?
That's the way the law is. You
Right.
can't tell me to cut a tree down in my yard.
It should
Well,
be
she
something
should,
that we
but
dealt
human
with. One at a time, otherwise we can't hear everybody.
Right.
Yeah, even Sam Pebble between 40 and Beacon on the right side before you get into the development. That whole lot there that I've seen up and down for sale online, but they come throw garbage in there. If I'm not calling the county, potentially dragging it out within 10 feet where they can see it, it doesn't get done. Like literally for 10 years, I've been monitoring it. That would look like a slum.
Can we find out who is responsible for that, Rob, and getting?
We can find out who would be responsible. I mean, that becomes a civil case, I think, more than a county government's not gonna be doing it because it's private property on both sides.
But her concern was
The
who
trees.
holds
No, I know
property
who
owners
owns. I know who
responsible
owns the property, but
for
who holds them
failing to take
accountable
care of
to
their
keeping
property.
it
Right.
at
Yeah.
least clean.
Yeah, her concern
Hang
is
on a
more
second.
about, who holds property owners are
And that's
responsible.
that's a commercial lot too, right?
Well, it's a
It's a
vacant
home.
lot.
It's a
But it's
business
commercial,
that
sorry.
owns
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh,
We'll look at it.
we'll get that for
We'll
you.
get
We'll
an
look at
answer
it.
for you. Go ahead.
If we give Cordish that money, who holds them accountable to spend it where it was supposed to be spent? I mean, he could take that money and put it in.
No, they're
Not
not doing
giving
that.
it to them.
That's not happening.
Who's
You
gonna?
have a contract, and the guy puts it in, you pay the guy.
Yeah, they get audited, yeah. Who's gonna be on top of it?
They don't give the money to Cordish. The county contracts somebody to put the cameras in, they pay the guy.
Okay.
Done story. Cordish never sees that money.
All right.
You could go to Cordish
Hang
and
on
say
one
match
second.
dollar
Yeah.
for dollar.
He's got his hands up. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so many times I've heard the youth brought up. I'm the president of the Joppatowne Rec Council, my vice president of the Rec Council, and all we do is work for the youth and try and, improve this community. I heard you talking about Canyon Field, what's going on over there. I heard you talking about what's going on down Mariner Point Park, but is there any updates about the new park that's going up there, behind Copenhagen?
Right.
Is anything happening over there? I don't know if there's anything going on as far as, going out there doing any zoning and planning. Is anything happening with that property?
As far as sports fields.
Yeah, I know.
Tell them
And that's gonna be the first thing that happens. We're not up to that yet. I mean, they're still talking about what they wanna do, and there's gonna be public involvement in that. We're not in it's early stages right now.
So it's early stages. Has anybody gone up there and done any surveying or anything yet?
I had to talk to Parks and Rec to see if they've done any surveys. There were surveys done, I think, before the deal was finalized. But as far as laying out, yeah, I've seen some plans for fields laid out there. And now I can't remember if it's three fields? Yeah, so there is some schematics done. But there's still, like I said, it's early.
Hang on a second. All right, go ahead.
In reference to your question, ma'am, about them dumping on that one property, contact the health department. We had a problem with our neighbor with trash being left outside. Contact the health department, especially if you're worried about rodents or wild animals and stuff getting involved up in. Health department will come out, they'll do an investigation, they'll notify the owner, and they'll give them about 15 days to get out there and clean it up.
I've been doing that for 10 years.
Right. So that's that's about one of the only things I think that you can do, unless you can find somebody to put a fence around it or something else like that. But get the health department involved, and I think after a number, I don't know what the number is, but I think there's a set number that the health department keeps getting called back to the same location. They're gonna start getting some other big guns involved.
So more than 10 years.
Yeah.
My turn? Yeah. So, I just wanna say, like, there's a tremendous amount of passion in the room for specific things that, individuals want to see done. And, I'm just gonna say this, I'm a big believer in, don't ask the government to do anything for you that you can do for yourself. If you are truly passionate about it, organize, stand outside with picket signs. Go to Luna's house, don't go on their private property, stand on public space and hold signs up telling all the people who come in there about how they manage and mismanage their relationship with your community. Go to the Joppatowne Grand Market and stand out there with signs and organize, because if this community really cares and we come out in numbers, then people will listen. People will do something different when they hear that he ain't gonna go fix Cornish. We might be able to. I don't say we can. I don't believe we can. I'm working on a project that I never believe was gonna happen, but honestly, it's been years, and someone handed it to me, and it actually looks like, based on the conversation I had today, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a great thing for Joppatowne and the Joppa community. But you gotta show up, and you gotta unite, and you gotta be in numbers, and you gotta speak with one voice. You can't speak with 10 different voices and say I want 10 different things. There's not the money, there's not the resources, there's not the time to do it. You see 755 and how successful they're being with projects, but she didn't do that in a week. It's been years. The rec council's doing great with their projects and growing their amount of people they touch. They've been working for that for years. If you really want to get it done, work together. Build an alliance within your community and get it done. I'd put a damn gate up and I'd put a code on that gate and I'd pay for it. We'd all pay for it, and no one would come down that road if they didn't have the code to the gate. I don't know, figure something out, but you know, you can do it. You can do it.
Yes.
Do it. You have the power. Don't give it up. Don't give it to him. Take the damn power. Go do it.
You said you.
And don't forget, we
Alright,
got
moving on,
the
moving on.
bridge painted. So
We did, didn't
we donated $1,000, got the money, and we got 35 people, and we painted the whole bridge ourselves.
You had a
And the
question.
county was amazed.
You had a question in the back, the lady in the back. Good.
Oh, I was just curious, who is the person that stays in touch with the Cornish management? Do you have one person that keeps them in the loop, contacts them frequently?
Deputy Director of Economic Development is most frequently involved with Cordish, yes.
Okay. And that person,
Raj, R-A-J, G-O-E-L.
Cornish guy has come to this meeting.
Yeah,
We
oh, I
can't.
know. Cornish has been here several times.
And the council person wants to speak.
Sounds like we need him back.
Yeah, but all you get's lip service.
Yolanda?
Yes, yes. I'm trying to tell everyone. So Raj and I try to meet with Mr. Peters on a frequent basis. It's been a while. We actually have a scheduled meeting with Mr. Peters, who's the management person for Cordish, and I'm glad you're having this discussion tonight because you just gave me some more information. But I already had my own concerns and some my own information, and Raj and I are going to talk to him on the 16th of this month, and I will let everyone know.
public meeting?
It's just a meeting with us, with Mr. Peters, so I can give him.
And I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
I'm Yolanda Robert, your councilwoman.
Okay, nice to meet you.
So I'm on it, and I know that's a big question. I know there's about security cameras. I know Cordish keeps not following through with things, but Mr. Peters is like the voice for them, and so we're trying. That's all I can say.
I do have
One more.
Okay, so since I was overlooked earlier, I wanted to say something about, Cordish. So can you put stipulations on the monies that they'll be getting for free, the grant money? Are you able to communicate that? Like if they come in, because everybody's concerned is that they haven't been doing anything, they have the money, now we're giving them free money, right? So what are the stipulations that we're placing on this free money that we're giving them? Can we communicate, hey, this is the stipulations on you having this money? Was that written into I guess the proposal when we asked for the money?
He's not getting the money like you think.
Okay.
We're not giving him a check.
He's not getting the money,
They're-
but whoever brought up them to put some in on it too, I like that. So I
Yeah,
told them to write
imagine.
that down, because I think they can give a little bit too. They have the money, they're millionaires.
Right.
Let's be clear.
They can put something there. But I guess the thing that really coming
We
up
have
is
more than one
citation.
conversation at a time. Nobody can hear what anybody else is saying.
And we wanna give everybody
A chance to speak.
Yeah, I know we,
Thank you.
I got it.
All right, last thing.
Rob,
Move on.
so in your update, the things that you offered us, both communities, we talked about street sweeping. In Joppatowne, we talked about Mariner Point Park. In Edgewood, we talked about First Harford Square, Cunyon Field, Edgewood Homeowners Rehabilitation, Edgewater Village Shopping Center, Woodbridge Station Way repairs, and Ivanhoe Street. I think the imbalance there, I know obviously some projects have updates and others don't, but the imbalance starts with the fact that Edgewood is a sustainable community and Joppatowne is not. And I know last time Raj was here, he talked about possibly a midterm correction on that. Is there any update on that so that we
haven't talked about that. I don't know. I know he did say that, and I don't know.
Because, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. And I'm so glad that Edgewood gets it. I'm so glad. But I just feel like we could use some help in Joppatowne. The marina could use some help in Joppatowne, things like that. So that's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Good job. Thank you. Way to hang in there. Pull those arrows out your back.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Just wait a second.
Catch you at the end. Who's the end?
Okay, I think I will. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say that, I'm signed up, the Alliance is signed up to get grant information and things, and we did look at those grants that the county pursued. They were much bigger than we could handle, but the grants are very specific in terms of, has to be a designated sustainable community, has to go to public safety. So I know, in that particular grant, it has to spell out how you're using the money. And I know initially it was, asking for a bigger amount to put in the to improve pedestrian walkway and lighting along there, because we have such a big foot traffic, because I know we've been, advocating for better lighting for our pedestrians and safe sidewalks and things like that. But I know that they didn't get the amount they requested. And just for, I guess just for context, the same grant that the state doled out, there was a county in the Eastern Shore that got over $3 million for community improvement through that same grant. So Harford got, that little tiny bit designated, and you have to spell out what you're using it for, so then when they trim, they say, just like when we applied, you have to use it for we've approved for this, and this, and it goes to the contractor. So it sounds like it's for him, but it's really for the citizens that live around Edgewater Village and the safety and access.
I'm gonna piggyback on that because I'm part of the security committee for my synagogue, and we just are waiting on our security grant. Yeah, I mean, we had to send in estimates even for reflective tape on the floors, that we were gonna renumber the doors. And you're right, the grant, when the grant comes, it doesn't say, here's a check for $125,000, do we, go out to eat, let me have lunch. Everything has to be designated, and we have to send in estimates on everything that we're going to use that grant for. And somehow or another, they know whether or not that's what we used it for. There's always a certain part of the grant that, like, if we had anything left over that we could put towards something else, but it's gotta be in security. But somehow they seem to know that we have used that money for what it was specifically designated for.
Yeah.
Question, because, I know that because we are a whole as Harford County, we really have no say so about what goes to Edgewood, what goes to Joppatowne, whatever. However, I understand y'all saying that the stipulations are how the money with grants, but I mean, the people that get grants, y'all actually go in their communities to see what their community needs versus what y'all think they may be benefiting from if you put this in the community? Because there's a lot of things that, I mean, they're offering that is good help, but it's stuff that need to be foundation before we get to that part. Like, you got people who don't want to be a part of a lot of community things, but they have living situations that they can't just openly go and enjoy these things with their kids. So if you're asking people who want these fields and these things, can the people that live there afford their kids to be a part of these programs if they're here? Like, that's the question. We have a lacrosse field, but who in Edgewood plays lacrosse? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's right next to our Boys and Girls Club that's been that way for years. Like, the Boys and Girls Club couldn't be updated, our library couldn't be updated. Like, there's a lot of money out here. We go to other places to take our kids to Bel Air and things to be at a good library with a good scenery, but here is like, we seeing the same things we grew up with, but it's all this money coming here, and it's like building trees and things, and it's bigger issues than those things. So when y'all come to the community with these programs and this grant money, are y'all asking the community people, what is it that y'all need here? What do y'all kids actually want? Do y'all talk to the kids?
No.
You know, like, I mean, because they're the ones that gotta participate in these activities that y'all trying to bring forward to here, but they're mentally distressed, losing friends, housing is a mess. Some of these kids living crazy. But how can they want to be a part of these things if their foundation is not foundation, if that makes sense, like, how does that work?
That goes back to his question
Right.
about the decision-making process.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but we can't solve that tonight.
No, we don't.
But here's what I would encourage everybody here to do. Continue to come out to these meetings, and if you got an issue of concern that has not been addressed,
Right.
just write it down and give it to Paula or myself or one of the members on this dais here. And we'll make sure that what, you give it to us, we'll get answers, and we'll put those things out at the next meeting. So keep coming, keep talking, and complaining, I guess. But this is good. This is a good conversation.
Can I just build on that, Jensen? So when Bob Cassilly got elected, he started the Southern County Task Force, and I haven't seen a lot of faces come to that. But I remember 3 years ago, they had meetings, they asked for people's input, they put it on scorecards for every single department. These are the programs the community wants, these are the things the community needs. We had a tremendous voice. And I would say, if you stay engaged and you keep coming to these meetings, as he said, you go to the Southern County Task Force meeting, which is right at the Edgewood Rec Center all the time. And if you go to the budget meetings, which they had at Joppatowne High School that I went to, and there were 6 people in the audience, I was embarrassed. Because we all show up talking about the budget and complaining, and there were 6 of us at Joppatowne High School. I was like, wait, this is crazy. So you gotta stay engaged, write to these people, find out who the person is, send them an email. I send emails, I get responses. They're good people, they're trying to do a good job, they want to hear you. They do. But we gotta stay engaged.
I will say too, that usually at every meeting, Rob Wagner takes a list of what, we've talked about back to the county. Like we need lights here, or we need this done, or we need, and at every meeting, he comes back and goes, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. So, even though there's some of the projects I'm sure that are outstanding, they're trying their best to get a lot of stuff done that we've been asking for, so, it's just a process.
That young lady has had her hand up for quite some time.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
I have more of a comment. So one of the issues that we've always had in this area is the dissemination of information. So you mentioned, get engaged, come, tell us what you're thinking. How can they do that if they don't even know these meetings exist? I didn't know.
Live stream. Sorry.
The main issues that we have. So if you're trying to go where the people are, that's what we absolutely have to do. I just wanted to share that comment. So we need to be making sure that we're looking at things from that lens as
Go
well.
on Harford County,
But you had a government official come in here and say the same thing. Do you remember Felicia Hopkins Grant, who is the minority health officer for the county, at one of the Southern County Task Force meetings? She did address the fact that in her role and her feeling as having to deal with the minority community, she is the minority health officer, that there is a breakdown with Harford County getting the news out into the minority community. She brought that up to Cassilly at the Southern County Task Force. I wish I had my old notebook because I made yeah, she did address that. It's not getting out to certain places.
Hang on.
I'll just piggyback on the conversation about how do we get the word out. You were talking about organizing folks to do things. Most of these people in this room we see every month, right? This is looks like we got a few more folks, which is great. The problem that I see since I've been starting to come to these things a couple years ago is you can catch people when they have their one issue, but it doesn't thread through. So how do you organize? You have one person in the community that's pushing, but and to go beyond it from, yes, it's on the website, yes, there's Facebook pages. Edgewood is very sectioned off, and you might be on one page, not on the other, but it's not just about getting online. I really think as a community, we have to figure out, by using our voice, how do we actually knock on the door? Because people are not coming to these meetings. Like, we have our own meetings in our own community, and we share all of this information. But the percentage, we get less than 10% of the people to come out. So, and typically you're seeing the same faces all the time. So yes, there's meetings being held. I love the fact that there's gonna be there's always some type of public hearing, but how do you get the different voices? How do we hear about the kids? we got funding, right? And so we asked our community, begged our community, what do you all want to see? So typically, because you don't get a response, then you're the ones that are holding the weight to get it done. So you're making decisions because you're not hearing from people. So it's not that the people aren't trying to get the word out, not trying to get the impact from people. People are not participating. So I would encourage everyone in this room is to figure out in your own areas, how do you get your people, your group of people that you can, I know you have a large base and everyone around here has people, how do we take it out of the room, you hear me say this all the time, take it out of the room and take it back to the doors of the people that we talk to every day. If we do work together and pick it, one voice isn't gonna do it. It doesn't. How do you organize to come up with a plan, come up with, maybe it's a writing campaign, but it can't just be the 30, 40 people that come to this meeting. We always hear that Edgewood and Joppatowne, we have the largest base of community members in this county. I know I'm saying it wrong, but how do we then organize outside of this? We have a lot of 755 and others have done, there's other people in other organizations who have events, and the percentage of people that come is so minute. Right. So money is being spent. People are spending their own personal funds or spending our organization funds, but people are not coming out. And I think beyond holding people accountable, how do we then get our community engaged? And the engagement, I think, is the issue. There are a million programs out there. There's a million sessions, information. I mean, I've seen so many from so many different organizations, but we're not getting a participation. And I think focus needs to go there.
Unfortunately, it's not just here, it's every organization.
Right, but I think that's a real conversation.
No, I know.
Go from putting the heavy on the people who are out here getting just filling out the grants is not easy, then getting the money, then figuring out how to spend.
Well, if you belong to an HOA, put up something when you know.
Well, I am the president of the HOA, and that's what I'm coming from that perspective.
Yeah, put it down in your bulletin boards.
But it doesn't work like that. I'm just sharing.
Well, I'm just saying that you can, or if you belong to a church group, ask if you can put it in your bulletin boards,
I just feel like sometimes it's a trust issue. Like I said, you got some developments that do have things for the community and the people that live there. However, I feel like if I complain tomorrow about my stove not working, I'm not comfortable in participating in no community events if I feel like I'm not getting help from the community. I'm just sorry, like, there's a lot of people out here that feel like that, like, when they even overwork, because you have warehouses in Harford County. There's warehouses in Harford County that demands 12 to 16-hour shifts for one. You have single parent homes, low income families are mainly running these warehouses to help them run. So sometimes you need to go to the job, post stuff up at the jobs, have jobs, see if y'all can come in and talk to them at work. For the people who get on lunch breaks, see if people can go to work on lunch breaks and inform parents in the community of what's happening and going on. Because outside there, people are making decisions to work for their family so they don't get evicted, or to get backlash for being on food stamps or getting government assistance because they want to raise their family. You know what I'm saying? So how do you decipher the two when people are getting evicted for rehabilitation or complaining about rental issues and low income? You're getting utility bill or rental repair bills for $400 and $500, and you're low income. Like, that's crazy. You know, rent $800, $900, and that's kind of low income if it's one by your income. But how am I getting a repair bill for $500 and it's supposed to be subsidized housing? How am I getting evicted on live stream with my kitchen leaking? You know, like, I got feces leaking from my kitchen to my sink, and I'm still able to be evicted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then by me not paying my rent, went through escrow, they spray painted mold, sent the picture to escrow, got paid. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in a situation, so what do? I'm homeless today, 1 month and 1 day. And I was live streaming as I was getting evicted. A lot of people here know that, including Mr. Bobby. I'm not sure if you know, but I'm sure you know my name. Bobby, everybody see me and say it, because at this point, who do you go to? Not municipality. You know what I'm saying? So I felt to go to the high person. It's been a bill passed, the whole managers available, responsible for the way people are living. Has that bill been signed? And if not, why? That's a necessity. I got applications for small claims court for 73 people right now, helping them fill out applications. 73 people. that's, class action right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, you get up to $30,000 in small claims court. I got 73 people on my own application that's homeless, from being evicted for complaining about leaks. It's somebody that's living in my house before me that got bills about the same leaks that I had. So how does that work? Like, nobody offered me a hotel stay to this day. Nobody accommodated me for when they were in my house supposed to be fixing stuff and nothing. I had to live in that. So we're not gonna hold these people accountable. Who do we hold accountable? Because election is 300 days. And I'm educating people on how to go about things and how to get the right people where we need to be, people who's gonna hear us and listen to us about these things. Because I live in low income. I had a good job I had to resign from because being homeless makes it difficult to work.
Yep.
So what do a person do in that situation? When you have everything and lose it all because you complained about how you live.
Exactly.
We moved from some cities that have a better living. And unfortunately, we gotta put up with this, and that's not okay. So who do we turn to? What happens to those like me who's still homeless today? No resources for real, and there's so many homeless people out here for the same reasons. It's hard to get rent anywhere else. You know how many people denied me? 20 applications. My credit score went from 6-something to 4-something for denials. For eviction filed against me because I didn't want to live under them stipulations. That's hard. So who's going to reimburse me for that? I mean, there's grant money being passed out, people paying settlements. At this point, we should be paid to live in some of these places. I'm sorry,
No, hey, I feel it.
And that was brought up last week, but I didn't hear you.
Tell you what you do. Young lady, what's your name?
Berlin Valentine.
Valentine. So how about holding this after, when this meeting is over, just stay back and somebody's gonna talk.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Brian, you're up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Glad everybody here is safe. Brought some show and tell tonight, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First, I want to tell you this, Mr. Jim is getting better. He's still going to be in rehab. He's still in rehab. Give it another month. Biggest problem right now is getting up and walking. The rehab place, they will not let him get up out of bed by himself. And apparently, from what he's telling me, the nurses can't do it. It has to be somebody from PT when he has to get out of bed. So, he still sounds good. He looks good to me, but it's just taking some time for recovery for his leg. So, a couple things I brought in today. Beginning of the year, we talked about, last year we talked about a lot of different things. But we're in January now. Remember, I handed this out last year. Everybody threw it away. Anyway, January is preparedness month. Like, start preparing for the winter, okay? We've had some winter events already, but there's a brochure back there about fire safety begins at home. Very easy read, good information. Take it home and read it. This will help you in case of a fire. The other ones I have back there, I brought this one back out again from the carbon monoxide safety. We've been getting a lot of fire calls, a lot of CO detectors going off. Okay, if you got anything in your house that burns fossil fuel, what's a fossil fuel? Wood, gas, oil, candles, the wax candles, okay? You should have a CO detector in your home, okay? With the things going on about generator safety, that goes hand in hand with the carbon monoxide, because if you got a fire using a generator that wired in your house, and I'm not talking about the ones already wired in, I'm talking about these portable generators. Make sure the exhaust is going away from the house. Make sure it's far enough from the house so it does not come back in the window or the door where you have the cord coming through. The other one was fire safety during winter storms. Be prepared. In the next couple of weeks, I got a feeling. My knees tell me, I had to replace this, telling me. Something's coming. I'm telling you.
Tell your knee to stop.
You told us we were going to get snow last time, but we didn't get it.
Well, the guy came around us, though. It did. All right, and the other thing was, that's in there, was the electric portable space heaters. Okay, they can be very dangerous. We had a fire last month set off by a space heater because the person had put their clothes too close to it to dry. Caught on fire, happened to be one of our firefighters from Joppa. one of his kids. Had a space heater on it, and then it got caught to the bed. He tried to put it out himself. And of course, it spread more, so then they lost quite a bit. So we want to keep things away from space heaters. And unless you're living under a rock and you haven't heard any news at all, we've had several large fires in Harford County. I'm going to say basically they could have been prevented. Okay, one was the cause of discarded smoking materials. Now, this person probably had discarded smoking materials in the same place constantly for I don't know how many years. And you keep saying it's not going to happen to me. Well, it happened. They lost the whole house. Thank God they got out safely. No injuries. I think a pet was lost in it. But again, be very careful when tossing out cigarette butts. Those you remember back 2-3 years ago in Harford, there's apartments. The ones that by the water, the big huge condos up there, had a sprinkler system and everything, burned to the ground. You know why? Somebody tossed an ash, a cigarette butt, in a plant that had mulch in it. That's all it was. The winds, and of course there's a lot of other problems there too. It hindered the firefighting because we couldn't get a truck or an engine close enough in there to fight it because the ground was wet and the winds coming off the Susquehanna were just feeding it. And that's what's happened with every one of the fires we've had recently. It's just the winds have been unbelievable. So again, one in Dorisville was a barn fire. They're not sure how that started. Probably electrical failure. We had one down here on around the corner from me, on Redwood Road. It was an unspecified failure of a chimney flue. Notice the chimney was not clean, and the soot in there caught fire. I told you last month, have your chimneys checked. We had a truck fire up in Darlington. Something happened in the engine compartment. It was not an EV vehicle. It was just something happened. Then we had another one over here on Suitland in Abingdon. Okay, was a faulty electrical. Okay, so things happen. And the reason why I said today was show and tell time. I brought one of these in. Everybody's seen these, right? The power strip, right?
Yep.
Little heater. Plug it in there. You think everything's all fine. It's not going to reach the outlet, but we'll plug it in there anyway, right? Wrong answer. And I'll tell you why. If you can read what the wattage rating is, Walter, can you read what I highlighted? No,
Younger, here.
I was going to get somebody else.
Adam can read it.
Adam can read it?
It's probably 1,500 watts, and that's probably 1,200 watts.
You're about right. You're just about right, okay? Yeah, this one.
So you didn't even need
This here,
experience.
1,500 watts. This here, and I tried to highlight it so we can see it, is rated at 500 watts.
500.
500. You're plugging 1,500 into 500, it's plugged into the wall. Inevitably, these wires are going to melt and catch fire. I've talked about this so many times before, and we've seen a couple of fires throughout the country. Space heaters plugged in the power strip. It's not to be done.
So, bro, let's talk about this a little bit more. So, if I was here, right, my wife would do this. She'd go, well, if it's 500, it's 500, 1,000. I'm okay, right? As long as I don't plug my hairdryer. No, it's actually
That's
this
exactly
wire.
right. Some people do think you're exactly right.
It's this wire is your
Right.
500 watts,
Right.
and it needs to be the sum of all of these. Can't exceed 500 watts.
Hopefully I don't run into your wife in Redlands.
She does grocery shop. I do everything. All.
And that's why, I printed this. This came in the mail the other day. Fire is looming with these things, okay? I can't put it out there enough to make sure you properly, don't use an iron, don't use a heater, because again, they got rating on them. The ratings are not compatible for those things. That's just a small heater. That's just a small one, 1,500 watts. I got some, there's some out there that are 2,500 watts. And people still try to plug them in there. It's going to cause a fire. And the other thing was, this is an old-fashioned extension cord. I say old-fashioned because you're not going to plug this in there either. This is going to burn and catch fire real quick, okay? And whatever's on it, the carpeting, whatever. So, my thought to you is, and one of the fires we had, they believe it was the Christmas tree. It was a shortage in the base of the Christmas tree, a short of some electrical short. Okay, and of course the tree just caught fire. We talked about that back in December. Keep your tree watered and don't let it dry, and check your electrical cords. I probably would not use this cord again. It's probably going up in the garden, but I pulled it out of my box that I had. Again, me like everybody else here, you have an extension cord to the box and forget about it, go get a new one. Yeah, this one is so dried out, you can actually feel how dried out it is. This is a fire hazard itself, no matter what you got plugged into, even if it's just a lamp. So, you know, you wanna be careful, with these things. I can't stress it enough, to try to keep fire down, and we're looking like we're gonna have a little warm up here in a couple of days, and then the bottom's gonna drop out again. Okay, get cold, be careful using your fireplaces, your wood stove, pellet stove, whatever you're using. Make sure the flue and the chimneys are clean. Okay, like I said, we've had a couple of chimney fires throughout the state of Maryland over the last 2 weeks. And it's because people are not cleaning the chimneys. And the stuff, you don't realize how the stuff builds up in there. You know, like the soot and stuff in there. Yes?
If you have a gas fire log in your fireplace, do you still have to clean your chimneys?
I would have it checked. Usually they don't go up the chimney completely. Usually they go straight out most of the time. They're usually at the same level of the fireplace, if I remember correctly. And when mine was, they were at the same level. I would have it checked. Get someone that knows what they're doing to have it checked. Get them call out. Spend a few bucks, because again, what price do you put on your life? Okay, you and your family.
So what do you recommend in place of the fire, in place of the extension cord?
Right.
So even me, like the brown one that you have, I have a white one. And every time I go to plug in, brown extension cord, every time I go to plug in this thing, these new iPhone chargers, just as base, it sparks. So what do you recommend in
It
place?
sparks?
Yes.
That's shorting out. Something is shorting out. That's probably that.
And my phone's not even attached to it at that point, yeah.
You don't have to be, because as soon as you plug in, the power's going through it. It's very possible that that has some kind of short. Again, look at the size of the wires, the size of, you know what size wires are here. That's all those wires are. It's more than likely, this is bad. You got a short, you got a very small break, maybe one of the wires. It's all little strands. I was just getting a new one.
Yeah, so what is the updated version of those that you recommend?
So they're in the stores now, they're heavier duty, they usually say, and I don't even say on the package, what they're rated for. Okay. And then this could be used for, if it was new, for charging phone, things like that. But if that's sparking, then there's something in that particular unit, whether it's in the charger or that, the plug itself, is shorting out. It's very highly suggest getting rid of it, because that could be a very big danger.
I saw something on TV and it surprised the heck out of me, but, I thought sparklers they were just a lot of fun and not a problem. And you saw that, it was even Sweden or Switzerland, where what they did, they had a bottle of champagne, and they would take 2 sparklers and they put a rubber band around them, and they walk around celebrating. And the sparklers would fly, while they had this cushion soundproofing stuff on the ceiling.
Right.
And the sparks hit that, caught that fire. How many people died?
40.
Okay, that brings back several years ago, I think it was
from sparklers.
10, 15 years ago, the same thing happened in the nightclub fire. Oh, what was it?
Massachusetts. Yeah, it was one in Massachusetts with the big one.
Might have been the one up in Massachusetts, where, number one, they had sparklers going. We had talking, if I continue on, just to talk about that real quick. There was a video from inside the place that a fire marshal, that was a fire marshal back then, brought to a program that I was in. Number one, exits were blocked. They weren't completely closed, so you couldn't get out. For whatever reason, some doors were chained. Okay. Number 3, the one exit that was available was right through where the fire started. Number 4, they were using same things, sparklers as extra lighting for it. Number 4, in one of the videos, you actually see one of the technicians smoking a cigarette with leaning on a box of fireworks. So that nightclub fire, okay, it could have been prevented, and there was like 30, 40, 50 people who died in that one. I mean, it was just like, you couldn't get out. Not to mention it was over capacity, but you won't even go into that. The point I'm making, though, doors were blocked. They were using sparklers indoors, which are not rated for indoors. And like the same thing happened here the other night with the champagne and the sparklers. where they're not rated for construction, they're rated for.
And it says on the
Sparks
box,
are very,
only
very hot.
use them outside only.
We had one last question over here.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, because to her point, right, we know that it said 1,500 watts for your surge protector. So far as the, just the extension cord, how many watts can we put in that? Like, is it based on what we're plugging it in?
When you buy an extension cord, it's in a package.
Okay.
It'll have a rating on it.
Okay.
It'll tell you right down there what it's on. And most people throw the rating, it's usually on the packaging, not on the cord.
Yeah,
So-
but this is probably written right here, I just can't read it on the, right, it has all the
It usually
details.
has an orange tab on it. It usually has
Show
an
her
orange
where
tab
it
on
is,
it
so
that
she
says UL listed.
Yeah. It either has a tag or
And
it's
a
printed,
package.
it's printed.
The big
But they do have a packaging, and they do have it on the cord. Anything that's, you all listed or rated, was underwriter laboratories, which means they've checked it over. They will have a rating on them, and they will have what they will allow. Okay, as far as how much.
Typically, most of the outlets in your house are gonna be a 10 to 15 watt circuit breaker. So you don't wanna be plugging, right, and that's gonna be more than that into.
But Mr. Ron, the UL never tells you how long you should use them, or like you were saying, yours is dried out. Most people had a mindset to use it until, they see wires, so
they see
what would
fire.
you, so what do you recommend how long you should use?
And that's a good question.
Cord or?
Last question, so we can move on.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm using my experience as a firefighter for 36 years, just feeling it and knowing that it's dried out and seeing it. It's not real flexible. When you get them when they're new, they're a little more flexible. Okay, and when they're brand new flexible, this one you can feel. If I put this next to a brand new one, I should have done, you would feel the difference on how stiff this feels as opposed to a brand new one, which means it's drying out. And it's just use and wear. I bet you to say it's probably 15, 20 years old, to be honest with you.
Don't buy one without a ground plug on it. Extension cord, make sure it's got a ground on it.
It's got a what?
I don't buy
The ground
any
plug.
Oh, the
extension
ground,
cord
yeah.
unless it's got a-
Well, all your new ones now should have them if they're sold in the United States. I'm saying they should, but they should have the ground. Yes, sir.
Several things are from the state fire marshal. Number one, do not daisy chain any of those, power strips. You cannot plug a power strip into a power strip, that's against the law.
Oh, that's even worse.
Second thing is, anytime you use anything that's a heat source, you must look at the amperage rating and then get extension cord that's rated for that with no greater than 6 feet from where you plug it into the item, into a wall. That's by state fire marshal and electrical code.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And we see that too. I was hoping.
That little
I
cord he's
wouldn't
got
have
right
to say that
there is
here.
SPT 1 wire, it's 18 gauge. It's not even the same gauge that's in your house.
I see.
Your house has 14 gauge
Two or three
or
days
12 gauge
I've
wire.
seen it in houses I've been in. I went into a house today, they put in some smoke alarms, and I saw one of these inside another, because so you put another one in it. It's not good, okay? I'm trying to get it over here, just be safe, watch what you're doing, question if it looks unsafe, it probably is. Okay? Thank you very much.
Don't trip.
1,500 watts.
Good job.
I didn't trip. Happy New Year to everyone. So I have a couple things, one of which is I am with the Local Health Improvement Coalition, and I'm gonna give you some statistics that is about Harford County from that, because it was an annual survey that was done. And I think everyone needs to hear what some of the priority areas are as it relates to that. The first one is family health and resiliency. And what we're finding out is that Harford County continues to demonstrate strengths as it relates to maternal and child health outcomes. However, we're still seeing a growing racial disparity with low birth weight increasing amongst African American infants. Also, that infant mortality and teen birth rates remain below the Maryland state average, so we're good on that. The biggest ones is the chronic disease prevention and wellness. What we are seeing, that heart disease and cancer remains the leading cause of death in Harford County. Through overall mortality, though, declined by 7%. What we're finding is the heart disease mortality has started to decrease since 2020, and lower diabetes is also going down. They're finding that it might be the decline in adult smoking, youth vaping, and youth obesity rates. So we're going in a positive. And then, however, with some of this, it's still looking at the zip codes. We're finding a significant geographic and racial disparity with hypertension, lung cancer hospitalizations, and pediatric asthma among the Black African American residents within our zip code right here, and some up in the Aberdeen area. The biggest one is behavioral health and mental health and substance use, and you know I'm a therapist, so I find this to be alarming. That's showing that with the emergency department visits related to opioid overdose and cannabis, we have decreased. However, anxiety emergency visits have increased. Also, depression-related hospitalizations have increased, and suicides have risen since 2022. We are exceeding the state average here in Harford County, with firearm-related suicides accounting for the substantial proportion of those numbers. So we're looking at continuously access to care, and as you know, I've spoken to Lauren Levy about how can we establish more mobile units in the community. We are still looking at that aspect so that people have more access, especially if they don't have transportation. As you know, we've had the transportation conversation, and especially on the weekends, we're lacking in that area. So we're still looking at a lot of different things to improve some of these statistics that is going on. Days Cove. We had a small team meeting on January 30th with a few people. We called it together immediately because the state has pulled the lease renewal discharge permit. With that being said, however, they do, MDE and DHR said, well, we had about 200 plus people mobilized, and that's why they listened. But they're also saying that on January 7th, Maryland Board of Public Works is going to still have a hearing and consider the extension for a lease renewal of 5 months up until May 29th at this moment. It gives us time to determine what in the long run will happen, what should happen. The end result will be a closure. It's just what that looks like. What can you put in that area? So there's been a couple discussions that we've had, and we're going to meet again to see what we think should happen, and then we're going to get community input on what we believe should happen from both sides, Baltimore County and Harford County. Ridgely Reserve. I've been in contact with Ms. Mumby. I continue to follow up with them. I do send my updates to Bill Temick so that he can forward it out to others. My understanding that there are still more penalty fines coming. As some were aware in the email I sent, there's only been $40,000 in penalty fees, and the last penalty fees were assessed on May 15th, 2025, despite all of the other things that are going on with Ridgely Reserve. So the response I got was, I said, well, that's not enough. The response I got was, we're still got some coming. Haven't seen any more coming. So just an update with that as well. During the course of December, I went through a lot of grand openings of a lot of small businesses. Homeward Bound Veterinary Services had a grand opening. Celebrate the 25th anniversary of Upper Chesapeake Medical Center. I am on the Maryland Affordable Housing Trust Board of Trustees, and we celebrated 3 homes in the Aberdeen area. They were connected together as a trio and all celebrated together as 3 families. It was an awesome experience. It was cold because it was snowing that day. But it was good to see those kinds of things for people who don't know if they were ever going to find housing. So there is always hope and people willing to work with you on that. I went to Discovery Center's Phase 2 kickoff event. They have an expansion coming. It's gonna have like zip lines and other things going through there, and really have like a foresty approach in there. So it's gonna be exciting to see, but they are gonna start launching on building that portion of it. They would like to have an outside lab on the water. It's just so low that they're scared that it's not gonna really be able to move anywhere. So that's one of their concerns, but that's one of their things. I like the idea, it's a great concept. I went to the Susquehanna Symphony Orchestra and was able to present the Harford Living Treasure proclamation to Mr. Sheldon Bear, who is a very nice gentleman, and he really wants to give back to the community. And then we had our Edgewood Christmas tree lighting, which I feel was great for the first year to have it in 10 years. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and a lot of the things that we got were donated, which was a positive as well from a lot of the businesses. Went to exit issues at Riverwatch. Biggest concerns are about medical and financial stability for small businesses based on what's going on in Congress, which is trickling down to the state, which is trickling down to local governments. So that is what people are keeping an eye on right now, is how are the small businesses going to do when they might have to pay for high insurance and high cost of other things for their employees. And then I took a tour with Ms. Imhoff of the Harford Family House. And they are doing a great job with the space allotted, and they're opening a second part for families. And I'm ending with this one because there's still not enough, right? Still not enough for families at all, as it relates to homelessness. They have a second floor. The second floor is currently housing furniture for Harford County. And so we are hoping that they are going to be able to expand and support additional emergency housing, because we feel that that furniture could be moved at this point and be able to expand, since they already have the business space and we have the numbers that we need more homeless shelters and housing. For everyone, Adam Hyde with Harford Community Action Agency will be presenting at the legislative session tomorrow about the freezing weather plan, which has kind of brought up about a lot of this homelessness situation of what we're looking at numbers strongly, and we're looking at lack of areas for people to have any kind of shelter. So he's talking that tomorrow. I suggest listening in on that. Because we have a high number of homeless population and a low number of beds. Homelessness, even if you have a car or couch surfing, that is not included in getting into the shelters. So if they find that you have a car, they feel that that's a livable situation. And if you have a, or if you're couch surfing from Johnny to Tim's house, they feel that same way.
Wow. That's where to go, so they got.
And so, just an FYI, in the past 6 months, I got contacted from the school system, and they were like, "What is going on?" In 6 months, they have had 40 displaced families with children. Wow. These are due to apartment complexes randomly evicting families for complaints. This is also happening up the Route 40 corridor as well, all the way up to Havre de Grace. And that's why myself and Councilman Bennett are starting to look at how we can maneuver some ways to hold these landlords accountable. So we're making sure that we are looking into it, along with Delegate Johnson. Andre Johnson has received lots of phone calls from lots of residents, way more than I have, about the situation, so he will be looking at it legislatively as well. And then I'm going to speak on his behalf, because right now, real quick, because he is homesick. But he also said the Maryland General Assembly starts next week, and he's been put on some committees And he will keep us abreast of things that are coming.
Tell him with healthy meals better.
Yep.
All right. I asked Delegate Johnson a few months back to look into the fact that most consumers in the state of Maryland, when they pay their BG&E bill, there is an Empower Maryland tax that they're forced to pay. But the average consumer cannot get that tax. That tax is there to help businesses get more efficient lighting and stuff like that. But everybody in this room is paying for it and not getting any benefit of it. What gives?
Yeah. So I will ask Delegate Johnson to continue to work on that.
Okay.
And look into that. I did, BG&E sent us a lot of information, and I put that in my newsletter to kind of give everyone a little bit more information as to what's going on their end.
Melissa has a question.
Okay, so Saturday evening, had to go to the ER with my baby. From there, CVS in Edgewood. Sign said it closed at 9, didn't say the pharmacy closes at 7. I get there at 7:20. There is nowhere in this county that has access for us to get prescriptions in a timely manner if it is after their closing.
Yep.
To anybody that don't know, you can go to Dundalk, Wise Avenue, CVS, 24 hours prescription. My son was gasping for air.
And Melissa, you know that we're looking at, Raj and I have been discussing with CVS, because when Rite Aid closed, we lost a huge pharmacy there, and everyone now is at CVS. And so we are trying to work on something in regards, he and I talked today about that, because that is a continuous problem, and I told them that we need something more than just them down the street, and Walgreens still has the potential of closing, because they were part of that bankruptcy with Rite Aid in the first place. So I suggest not going there, but CVS is now in like airports and other places now, and so they're saying that they're not going anywhere. And that's where they're the best. But I will ask about that. I didn't hear about the pharmacy.
How can we get something? Like, that's just my son.
Yeah.
The people that are not mobile, something.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a mail script order, I know from what I did with in medical care, it is a mail order company that delivers prescription, and I can get that information to you guys, and they do take insurances. And I know because I work for a pain care clinic, and they deliver opioids to some people, so I can give you guys that number just for people to reach out if you need it, to see if they take insurance and willing to service you, but they do mail prescription, they said they do mail order.
I'd like to add something about the Empower. That program helps, because I called about it once.
Okay.
And they will come out, and they did come out to my house, and they gave me all new low energy light bulbs. They wanted to do a lot of other stuff on my house that I did not want them to do, but they wanted to put insulation in the attic and other places in the house, and I didn't want them to do that. But they would have done that, and they would have done other things, water heater. They would have done a lot of different things that I didn't want or didn't need. But I called them out to get an idea of what it's all about. And then they did a vacuum test on the house to find out about air leaks and stuff. And they said, well, we just can't really, they weren't able to perform that test because the house was, they just couldn't do it.
Was that free of charge to you
Yes,
and everything?
all free of charge. So that is not necessarily going to corporations. You could call and find out about it, and they do come out, and the person that did my testing, she was there for 3-4 hours.
Now, did you have an energy audit done, or did you contact Empower Maryland? Because there are two different things. We had an energy audit done on our house but the Empower Maryland is, and they put it out there in commercials on the radio. Empower Maryland will help businesses. And this, you know, you pay up into this for your business.
Well,
To
this
come out
was
and do-
Empower that came to my house.
Okay, all right.
I understand that it was a bill presented. Is it a reason why, or was it a reason given for why the bill wasn't signed, or like still in limbo for holding property managers accountable for how tenants are living or being put out?
There hasn't been a bill presented recently. If you're talking about in Harford County, no, not yet.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. I thought they said.
I thought it was online that it was a bill presented and it was like told it was unsigned yet due to Mr. Casey not wanting to be involved in that kind of, so that's why I'm asking out loud in front so I can get a better understanding, because I know sometimes social media things can be clickbait. So I'm just asking because it was a whole script written that it was a bill presented to hold.
Are you talking about the news article from the Aegis?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Guthrie had presented one back in 2012 and then pulled that one. Then there was one that submitted in 2014 that had votes and it did not go through. At this point in time, Mr. Bennett and I are looking at how to do this without aggravating a whole lot of people, in a sense, right? Meaning the people who are privately renting. So we're looking at all the renting situations across. There are about 12 counties right now that have what we're looking at and doing a good job with maintaining it. We're just trying to figure out how that would work in Harford County. But Mr. Cassilly did say he was not going to, he said he wasn't going to know what to do until he sees what the legislation looked like. That's what the comment was.
What happened to the bill? And they made an announcement on it. It was voted on that he touted himself that he put together about holding the landlords accountable, because the thing that I kept getting into it about it, because we discussed it at a Southern County task force meeting, was the fact that, okay, passing that bill was one thing, but if you weren't gonna replace and get extra housing inspectors, you know, Mr. Wilson is now, Jack Wilson, he now retired and everything. If you weren't gonna get the extra housing inspectors to go out and inspect or be keeping an eye on the apartments, that bill really didn't do or wasn't gonna do any good. So whatever happened with that proposal that he had, because they said it was passed.
No,
So-
that was my, she's correct.
That was, yep.
That was my bill, and, first time it faded out, the second time we got the bill up before the council, and it failed by one vote.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm trying to think of that term. What is
It's
that
it's the renters.
Livability.
It's
Livability
code.
Yeah, that was it.
livability code, and that's what has to be
Hang on
addressed.
one second.
The county executive said he was going to redraft the livability code. I don't know if he has yet or not, but he said he was going to do it. You get a lot of battles because you get all these renters who are renting, not the renters, but the people that own the places that they're renting. Okay, the owners, and they come out in droves and fight that bill. But we really need, because that bill, livability code in Harford County, I can't think of how old it is. It must be
79.
20 years or more. How old is it?
79.
It's old.
You and I talked about that. When was that? 79?
79.
It has not been addressed since 1979.
And it's,
And I brought it up to date twice, and the second time it failed by one vote.
Yeah.
So, Bob says he's gonna bring it up again, but I haven't seen it.
I mean, even if it's not gonna go that way, I think it's ideal, at least, especially for the low income communities, to have case management, because at least when I was living there, I was a victim of BG&E fraud, where they came to my door offering me discounted services on gas and electric, and they basically changed my service over, and now I got 2 bills. So I can imagine the elderly people who was allowing them thinking that they're gonna get a discount when they knock on their door, especially in the low income communities, saying, hey, BG&E get switched over, we got some light bulbs and all this, next thing you know, you got a bill from a whole nother company because your service was changed, but it was presented as it was BG&E coming to give you a discount on the service. I mean, the guy, he fraudulently signed my name, but I got a message stating that my service was changed over via email, so I caught it instantly. However, it's older people in the community that's, again, losing power and things because they can't keep up with two bills not knowing or wrongly, they allowed to solicit in these communities, and that's not okay. So I think case management should be ideal for those low income developments to have a medium between the property owners and the tenants for issues and problems that people can't read or write properly, that need stuff filled out and don't understand, because the property owners and managers are not helping with that. And you get bills and things and not understanding where they're coming from, and they don't want to help you fill out paperwork or not give you enough notice to get it looked at by somebody else who can possibly help you understand. So if you're not going to pass a bill like that, I think case management should be mandatory, and if these properties don't want to agree to it, they should be, the manager should be switched out to people who care about the tenants.
So what you're talking about, that's different from what the livability code addresses. Livability code addresses the conditions of the property, not the BG&E part.
Complain about the conditions is an issue now between the tenant and the property managers. But if it was case management, like a medium who they can report to, who got a paper trail with them, it'd be easier to go to people like Bob, like, hey, these people have been complaining for years. I went to property management, nothing was done. What can we do to help the tenants at this point? Because if it was a tenant complaining, they'll be kicked out. You know what I'm saying? So how do we come up with something that bill is not going to be passed to still protect tenants and property managers from having to go through these situations to where you getting put out?
Yeah, so that's what we're working on.
Okay.
We're trying to work on something that is protecting everyone at this point, so that you're not in that circumstance anymore.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. I think she had her hand.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think you talked about it last month, or I didn't see you a lot, so it might have been that you, with Rite Aid, you were thinking about wanting like a local pharmacy to take over that space. Is that still what you're talking with Raj about, or
Yeah.
is that the idea?
So there's some other. If you've ever been to like Dundalk and Drug City and some of those other places that did the same thing, they did the pharmacy and they did like the convenience aspect. We have seen that there's some other ones out there, and so it's still a conversation because CVS has already told us they're not coming in. So now we're trying to figure out what to do just the best case scenario. Because unfortunately, like Giant and some other grocery stores have pharmacies in them, but Food Lion is one of those chains that does not. So we don't have anything for that aspect either.
Okay, and can we push for urgent care, cause Bel Air just got one. Bel Air, where the food chains just came in, they got one.
Yeah. That was part of the concept was urgent care.
Bel Air. So what is the place? Olive Garden, the Longhorn that just came in, that development over there?
Yeah. Belcamp.
Okay.
Wait a minute. On paper, it's Bel Air.
It is on paper, but it's over by Riverside.
It's by Riverside.
Yeah, it's a good place to
Okay.
No, it's urgent care.
It's an urgent care.
It's an urgent care. Right here, I was like, oh my God, we didn't get one.
Dog in the box.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
Okay. Thank you. And on that note about Edgewood and Joppatowne, don't anybody think about putting one of those 7 brews on Route 40?
It's already happening.
It's already going in.
That one, the county. Well, just to say, find another route to drive in. If anybody coming from Bel Air, we'll see that line going to the 7 brews.
I do.
It's right
All right. Here we go.
They are.
Right up front of Big Lots.
Just start talking.
That's all right. I don't want to interrupt.
Ridiculous.
Where?
All right, guys. Sorry. So for those of you who are new, I'm Allison Imhoff. I'm the council representative for District B, so I cover a little bit of Joppa, but I'm largely your neighbor just to the north. But with that being said, I spent a lot of time in the Joppa area. My full-time job is I'm a school-based social worker. And so with that being said, one thing I talked about a couple of meetings ago was that Arrow Child and Family Services opened up an autistic school literally right up the road, in the dialysis building behind the Wawa, literally right up the street. The outcome and the referrals for that school were so incredible that they maxed out the census, and Arrow decided to continue to invest in this area, and they have now taken over a long-term lease at the old Trinity Lutheran School. So what was supposed to be a school for young autistic kids is now becoming 2 schools. Literally right around the corner from each other. The response from the community, the referrals have been incredible. The kids are actually getting wraparound services instead of having to be bused, 45 minutes to a more appropriate school. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that that is in the works. Arrow they actually had already signed the lease before they told their staff they were opening up another school because the need was so high. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, but it's right around the corner from here. To piggyback off of what Councilwoman Robert was saying, there were a ton of small business openings in December. 2 of my absolute favorites that I really wanted to kind of plug, Tiffany and Co. Bakery in Churchville. She is a young woman who was on Cupcake Wars. She came here from Dover. She found Harford County and she wanted to invest in it. It's a minority-owned business. Please go out and support her. I know it's in Churchville, it's a little bit of a hike, but she has found Harford County to be her home, and we want to make sure that she stays here and grows here. Another small business that recently opened is Falston Market International, right up in Falston, right near the State Police Barracks. Another minority-owned business. They sell a ton of international foods. I've been in quite a few international markets. Most of them are pretty sparse. Like they have very little on their shelves. They were fully stocked, and it was the most adorable family. And they were so sweet and so eager to talk about their culture and what they bring to the table. So please make sure that you guys go out and support them as well. I'm not going to talk about Seven Brew. We already know. But one of the things that anybody can do to support their community is to support the local businesses, the people who live here, the people who have chosen to set up shop here. Those are the people who are going to give back to the communities. So I just want to encourage you guys to support them as well. I also wanted to give updates. A couple months ago, we talked about a solar farm that was being proposed up in Joppa, off Old Joppa Road. It's called the Peters Project, and the company that has been contacted by the property owner is called Jopatowne. In December, Jopatowne filed an application with the Maryland Public Service Commission for 2 co-located parcels totaling 78 acres. The address is 535 Old Joppa Road. The solar facilities would connect to BGE's local distribution system right along Old Joppa Road. Construction, if everything does go through, is expected to begin the 3rd quarter of 2028. Because of the size and the purpose of this solar farm, it is a state project. It's not a county project. So it's all going through the Maryland State Solar Program. The application for a certification of public convenience and necessity has been docketed as case number 9847. COMAR requires the Department of Natural Resources Power Plant Research Program to determine if the application meets completeness, and a pre-hearing conference has not yet been scheduled. The way that this program has been explained is it is not intended to be its own thing. It's literally intended just to add power to the existing grid. However, people are used to it being a farmland. And so to have it be a solar farm is really, really hard, especially for the people who immediately neighbor. Because of the size of the solar farm, Jopatowne was not obligated to notify anybody because it is considered smaller. They did have one meeting where they notified any house that was within 300 feet of the proposed solar farm. There was about 12 people that came. Luckily, I was able to go to it, but at that point, they hadn't submitted anything. It was just kind of getting a feeler. The general consensus for the immediate neighbors were, we're not opposed to solar, we just don't want it in our backyard. With that being said, there is a huge push on the state level for this type of energy. So I'm going to keep giving you guys updates. They just submitted something in December to get approval. There's probably going to be a few steps between now and the third quarter of 2028 to see how it all goes. Any questions?
I just got a comment. Why they popping up so much like that?
Because there's an initiative with the state of Maryland to have alternates to nuclear power plants.
Wow. Okay, when I was driving, and I got you, I'm gonna make mine quick.
Yeah.
When I was driving, like by Burns Bloom, you see it. If you go by the college, you see it. If you go in the back way to Wegmans, you see it. And it was like, it's scary to me.
So it's a combination of factors. So in this situation, the property owner reached out to Joppa. The thing with these solar farms is they don't have to sell their generational farm to anybody. It's like a 15 to 20 year lease by these different companies. The biggest concerns that we've had is they're drilling, meters into the ground of metal. And most of the people, especially around that area, have well water. And we don't have enough history to understand if there's going to be long-term effects. Some of these contracts do say at the end of 15, 20 years, they have to restore it to its original state. But not all the contracts say that, and not all companies offer that. So what does return it to its natural state mean? Because the reality is the topsoil of farmlands is really valuable. So a lot of these companies come in and they skim off the top layer and they sell it. So are they going to buy it back? So these things are popping up a lot. There's a lot of initiative with the state. But again, my background and my experience is I would proceed cautiously. Any question?
Go ahead.
Yes.
When do the rolling blackouts start?
You'll know when I know at this point.
I understand solar.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that it has its uses, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's minus 20 and you got people that are trying to keep their houses warm and the sun hasn't shone for 2 or 3 days, okay, and just like what happened down in Texas when they had the ice storm down there here a few years back, people had, frozen pipes and damage and deaths and everything else like that. I mean, we all know, pardon the expression, the BS that's going on with climate change.
I think we've maybe gone past the scope of this meeting.
Yes.
Allison, I did have one question.
Yes.
Have you, I heard something similar going on over in Perryman also?
So yes, there's been a lot.
Yeah, so is there a much broader, I guess, look at this at Harford County? What's Harford County's government's position on all of this?
So the council especially has very limited jurisdiction, especially since it is state programs that are fueling this initiative. One thing the council has talked about is, being able to tap into some of these companies who are turning a profit to be able to return back to land preservation. Or Joppa, when they had their meeting, they said, oh, well, we'll put up a 6-foot fence. A 6-foot fence isn't a lot. And then they're like, oh, well, we'll do a mound. I said, my kids see that as a hill to climb on. So there's a lot of things that we have started talking about. We are open to ideas. Obviously, one of the perks is we see them. I mean, I was just up in Abingdon the other day, and it was the whole hillside that I had never seen before. So what we would like to know, and we're talking with the communities that are immediately affected by it, but let's be real, it's a growing thing. So, I've talked about, planting more natural trees to be able to block it, you know, what is this, is there sound that comes from it? What are the variations that we need to be, and the different things that we need to watch out for? So those are the things that we have already started talking about as a council. We are totally open to ideas, recommendations.
Yeah, I mean, does the county make any money off of that?
It's
whatsoever?
DG. So,
So
the,
there's no way to
so the
tax
way
it?
that Chaberton advertises it to the immediate houses is the immediate houses have the ability to buy into these solar farms and have a 10% discount on their bill.
I was gonna say that my question switches to him because these are combustible things is going up, and he always talks about it take 10 fire trucks to put out one small vehicle. This is a whole field of it.
It's not a battery.
That's untouched right now.
You said it's not a battery?
It's not a battery, no, it's just a solar panel.
Yeah, but remember.
No, serious, it's not a battery, I have 32 on mine.
Go ahead.
What runs those panels?
Is the county, working with any of the local communities that are fighting this, like 3P, Protect Security Peninsula, that are fighting against these things?
So yes and no. So the reality is a lot of these farmers, they're not developing their land. So at some point, the county wants to be able to have those conversations with these farmers. You obviously don't want to sell your land. Cool. But how can we get it to actually remain as much of a green space as possible? You know, a lot of these property owners are generational property owners, and they don't have another generation that wants to farm the land. You know,
But I'm talking about the communities that have organized effort.
So, and that's the thing though,
Is the county working with them?
so yes, to a certain extent, the reality is that the property owner that owns the property, they have to be included in the conversation. It can't be us against the old horse farm because we've always loved the old horse farm. You know, I'm a generational farmer myself. If my husband hadn't agreed to move from suburbia back to my family farm, my family would not have the next generation to farm it. So the property owner can't be the other person. They have to be part of the community effort to be able to figure out, okay, let's say we use part of it for productivity, but we preserve the rest. So we work really, really closely with Harford Land Trust, the county, to do these land preservations, to be able to provide a financial alternative to these property owners. So that's kind of where we are right now.
So that's what the Harford County government is
That's
doing? is
that's where our
working
focus
to
is.
come up with ideas for alternative use of the land.
Exactly. So that's where we're trying to focus, to try to find some type of balance.
But not working necessarily with the groups that are fighting against it.
So there's not necessarily people who are fighting it, there's people who are concerned about it. Not at this time. So, and we encourage them to come and talk to us. I've met with all of the immediate neighbors of this particular project. And while they're not a fan of it, they also want to be able to have some input in how to modify it to meet their financial needs as well.
So are these property owners, those folks who received, who were paid not to develop their property?
Mm-hmm.
And so the issue is, it's about money. You know, it's dollars and cents. How do you say to somebody, they sold their development rights, so they can't sell their property to a developer so that they can put houses on it? So the other option is to put solar panels on it and make money. So they made money through the ag preservation because they were paid not to sell or
They
develop
sell
their
their
property.
development, right?
Yeah. And so on the other side is, I mean, it's, if you had property and you know, if you found a way to make money without selling it to a developer, you might do that as well. So it's about dollars. It's about money. It's not. Yeah. It's always about money.
Ron, last thing
Now,
is we really.
you
that's
mentioned about the planting of trees and stuff like that. I thought there was some law that when you destroyed a forested property, for every mature tree you took down, you had to plant 2 new trees. Is that still
I
a
had
law?
always grown up hearing that, but
They said that. She's, so when we met with Jamerton, they did say, they showed the actual trees and bushes and natural that they were gonna plant around it, so it kind of was your sound barrier, but it also gave some, you know, it added back to the nature part of it. So it was kind of like their way of saying, so you're not technically the neighbor looking directly at the panels, you see some trees in between, but they had to plant them. So that was part of the stipulation that they already had, and they showed us what it looks like as the wall around it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here from, Laura and Erica's office? Okay. Bam, Kim, do you have something for us?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, how about you, Adam?
Yep. Hang on.
I'm trying to get everybody out by 9:00.
I have a list, so I'm organized. I did get a note from Bill Temmink. He couldn't be here today. He's had some deaths in his family as well. He just said, let's not forget Ridgely's reserve damages, which have been already brought up, and that Days Cove needs to be handled in such a manner as to make the river cleaner, not worse. He also asked me to talk about the homeless shelter, which I'm happy to because it's happening right now. If anybody needs shelter, I got it, so tell anybody. We've got some openings right now, which is great. Have not seen the influx yet. Usually the first week of the shelter is pretty underattended, but this is really underattended. So please spread the word. We have plenty of beds available, and the rotation will leave us next Monday. So it'll keep going around, and then back to Joppatowne in February.
What's the location? I'm sorry.
Joppatowne Christian Church. Technically, talk to me after the meeting. I got you.
Okay.
Everything goes through the Community Action Agency, so don't send them to our church building if the Community Action Agency is open. It's better to contact them directly, and then they'll get the contact to us. But hey, I don't want to see anybody out in the cold, so feel free to send people our way, and we'll get you situated, and then to the Community Action Agency tomorrow.
Is it a family shelter or singles?
It's a individual adult shelter. We don't have any kids in our shelter. That is a wildly, it's a underrepresented thing that we can offer in the county. We need more beds for that, for sure.
If they had a vehicle or like, is they still are welcome there?
A
Or is it
person?
prioritized? Yeah, because some places, if you have a
Hey, if you
car
drive to
or-
me and I don't need to go pick you up, you are okay in my book.
I'm just asking, 'cause just for other people, because a lot of people get turned around in places because they do have a vehicle, they consider that as a house.
Nope, you are
I don't wanna
welcome.
send people
You are
there.
welcome. We don't want people sleeping in their cars.
Okay.
You can't sleep in your car if you come into the shelter. You got to come into the shelter. So, that's the Harford County Hope for the Homeless Alliance rotating shelter. So, yes, please let me know. Good news on the food pantry front. The Southern Rotary Club of Harford County, or Rotary Club of Southern Harford County, was able to pay for a food pantry for Joppatowne. So our food pantry got a little bit of an upgrade. Thank you especially to Jeff and to Ralph and to Bill, who were there putting it together so that it would stand longer than if I put it together. That is up and ready to go. It is, there is all kinds of food in there. So if you need anything that's at the Joppatowne Christian Church building, come for the food pantry, stay for the homeless shelter if you want. Later on this month, it should happen in the next week or so, AARP is going to be opening their free tax aid service. That is also at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. We'll have tax services certainly on Thursdays from 8 to 1:30 from whenever they open up the appointments until the end of tax season. That's free for anybody of any age, regardless of whether or not you're an AARP age or not. So I will say this, keep looking. There's actually a thing, if you go and you search for AARP tax aid, you can sign up right now and they'll send a reminder. The appointments for that go really, really fast. So please, if you really need that service, make sure that you sign up quickly. The trivia is continuing. We will, because the Ravens did not make the playoffs. We're probably set through through the Super Bowl. So on Super Bowl Sunday, there's no trivia. There will be a Super Bowl party at the homeless shelter at Joppatowne Christian Church. So come down for that. You are all welcome. Feel free to bring a dish to share if you would like. Hey, I really loved the conversation that we had. I'm so sorry that it came at, the death in the family for Mr. Cassilly, but I would love to have more conversations like the one that we had. And we have a lot of them at the Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation. So if you're on the Joppatowne side of things, come on down to our meeting on January 26th. That is also at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. And if you're on the Edgewood side of things, that's the kind of stuff that the 755 Alliance is doing. So go over there for that. Small little ideas like a tree lighting in Edgewood can become a reality because we work together like Ralph said. So it's a great opportunity, and I'll also give a quick shout out to the live stream. If you feel like somebody needs to hear that discussion, we got it all on tape. So you can share that from the Facebook page or from the YouTube page for this group, the Edgewood Joppatowne Community Advisory Board. And on your agenda, if you got it emailed to you, the live stream link is on there. There will be a blood drive at Joppatowne High School on January 30th. That is from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and I'll be there for that. That's a Friday. So you are more than welcome to come to that. You need ID to get into the school. You can't bring a bag or anything with you, so just take your phone with you and your ID and bring that into the building.
Do you have to register beforehand?
You don't have to register beforehand, but it's helpful.
It'll go a lot faster if you do.
Yeah, a lot faster if you do register beforehand. We also do try to let the school know who's coming in, but you can. It's just a little less smooth. I think that's all I've got as far. Yep, that's my list. Any questions? Jeff?
Joppa Land Trust? No, usually you bring up about the Joppa Land Trust is
The Harford Land Trust, as far as I know, is still surprised that the Foster Branch Park is not going as quickly as they thought it would, but we heard a little bit from Mr. Wagner. Apparently there are fields being designed. I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
I just wanted to piggyback on the shelter, the pantry and the shelter. The pantry is give what you can, take what you need. So if you don't need it, give to it. And same thing with the shelter. If you don't need the shelter, you're more than welcome to volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the information for the shelter, if you would like to volunteer, if you would like to help transport people to and from the shelter, if you would like to make a meal for the shelter, or if you want to donate to the shelter, all of that information is at joppatown.church/shelter for our weeks, for Joppatowne Christian Church's weeks. And really, it's not a Joppatowne Christian Church thing. We could not do it without community support. So grateful to the volunteers who have come down and made dinner. Everything that has been made so far has been absolutely delicious. And if you volunteer, we feed you. So we got 100 pieces of Red Nurse chicken yesterday. We didn't even open the second set of 50. So come on down, eat, hang out, volunteer. If you need a place to stay, we got you. And if you, I will say this, our first week is smaller than our weeks in February, so we are going to need more help in February than we do in January, and there's a lot more opportunities to serve in February. We ended up kind of getting, we had to take over a week for somebody else, so we're doing 2 weeks in a row, back to back in February, which is a huge gargantuan undertaking. So if you have the ability to come down and help spell our volunteers, oh man, that'd be awesome. Any other questions?
Y'all 7 days? You take them 7 days?
We're doing 10 days this time, and we're doing 15 days in February, back to back. So, and then it will rotate to other churches. So right after us, Harford Community Church in Belcamp is taking it, and then after them, it's Havre de Grace United Methodist Church, Cornerstone Church right here in Joppa. They're taking a week. So it's all over the county. It's a collective effort. But if you do know churches that would like to get in, we're ending midway through March, and we usually go through April. We could use some more churches in the rotation. If not, we'll be ending in March.
The meeting on the 26th, what time is that?
Sorry, 6 o'clock. And it should be downstairs. So if you come into the Joppa Christian Church parking lot, which some of it got repaved recently. Hang a right, go to the not paved part of the parking lot, and go into the building, the lower part of the building. It's a big hall. You'll see us. So,
Thank you, Adam.
thank you.
Hampton?
I just want to encourage, folks in this meeting to, one, share, with your constituents and your neighbors and your relatives about this meeting and the kind of issues and concerns that are brought to the table here. So that we, and I will just say that the agenda that Paula and crew puts together is based on information that you share with us. If you have an issue, we try to identify someone and put them on the agenda to address that issue. You had an issue with homelessness. You got Councilwoman Roberts here, and I from the agenda, I see that Delegate Johnson is also addressing that. So you got some points of contact, and you have Adam here, so to address your immediate concern. And so I just want to encourage the folks here that are here tonight to reach out to your community, your neighbors, and encourage them to participate, not participate, just come out to the meeting. Come out and complain. Just come out. And you know, that's how we identify issues and find solutions to them. There's a lot of talent in Edgewood and Joppatowne. We have a lot of talented people here. And I just think that we are not we're not using them effectively. And so we need to do a better job of that.
Small announcement, I do a community baby shower. This is my third one in March this year, the 22nd. And if anybody wants to collaborate, I take new gender use items, and I have a baby shower for multiple moms. 20 registered. This is my third year doing one, so if anybody have newer use items, I have one big baby shower. Our theme this year is a little bunny's on his way. Last year we did Mother's Day, and before that it was We Can Barely Wait to Meet You. So I do community baby showers. If anybody have any items in the baby, I'll pick them up and I'll collect them. And the 22nd is open to the community to come in, experience the day with the moms, having babies on the campus.
Where's that one? Come on,
Well,
y'all,
we're
we got
waiting
it out of
for,
here. We got 1 minute.
a message back from, the Boys and Girls Club at Edgewood. So it was at Rooted Bible last year, so this year we just still waiting for a building, so I can put out all the rest of the information on social media about the people coming in and how you can support it. If you have a business and you want to donate your business, that's fine too.
Thank you.
All right, my question, who's got the sign-in sheet?
It's here.
Sheriff took it.
Okay. All right, I'll come back and get it then.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. You know, it's unfortunate about our guest speaker. Rob, if you will check when he will be able to reschedule and then we'll get back to you. Yeah.
I'll check with him and make sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he will, and we extend our condolences to him. Yes,
I got a message from Jim Lyons. He sends his regards and sorry he couldn't be here. He texted me while we were here. He knows I was in this meeting, so thanks everybody for the cards that they've gotten.
Okay.
All right, thank you all for coming out to the Christmas event that we had. We were able to help over 100 families. You know, never put something on social media if you don't want it to come to pass. Thank you for everybody who was involved in that. We had an amazing time, and that's my portion.
Bob?
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Paul. That's why people don't come to the meetings. No.
You said we were gonna get out early.
Well, I'll tell you what. That didn't happen, but I thought the conversation